Let's record. Okay, Shabbat Shalom, Mishpachah. This is Rabbi Kefa coming in from home base in San Antonio, Texas. To for your responses. To Alessi, welcome Alessi to the room. Alessi is a first timer in the room. Mishpachah, I'd like for you all to welcome Alessi, a good friend of mine, and she's in the journey, and she is definitely seeking the truth. And believe me, when you seek the truth, believe me, you're going to find the truth. And what you're going to find is that the truth is within you, and it just needs to come out. But the laws of the universe, is the laws are like we're dealing with the book of Beresheeth. When we go back to the beginnings of what they call Genesis, you go back to the beginnings, that's where it all starts. The beginnings is the beginning, and it's also the end. When you think about it, the beginnings is the beginnings, but it's also the end, because everything entails on and hinges on the beginning and the end for all of us. So welcome Alessi to the room. Hakoin is in travels, Mishpachah. So what we're going to do is we're going to fire up his recording that he has made for us, and then I'm going to come in on the back end with my lecture as well. Alessi, if you have any questions, you can feel free to text them in, and also I'll post some things for you as well to get you caught up. As you can see, Sim Alt. If you want to get caught up on all the lectures, you can type this in on YouTube. Sim Alt. That's Rabbi Simon Altaf. He's a Kohen. He's a Levitical priest from the tribe of the Levites, the Levi, and the Levites, which would be even more in tune. He is a son of Aaron. So, he has lineage. He can prove it. Unlike majority of us, and I know Alessi, you right along with us, the majority of us can only trace our lineage maybe back to a plantation somewhere on somebody's plantation somewhere here in North America, or you really can't go back too far when it comes to your lineage, which is very, very important. And so to really understand and really answer that question that's burning within all of us is like, who are we really? I mean, we've been told we're many things. How many of you in this room been told you're something that you don't believe that you are? Of course, all of us at one time or another have been called outside of our names or told that we're something that we just don't feel comfortable with within our ruach, which we say spirit, within our ruach, within our spirit, where it just don't agree. Alessi made that same comment to me as well. You just didn't agree with my spirit. It didn't agree with her ruach. So, you feel uncomfortable with inside of self. And that's where everything starts, with inside of self. And so once you begin to understand that and get out of that conditioning of what we've been taught to where we have to go out and seek for something outside of ourselves, like you have to go look for Jesus, wait for Jesus, look for God, wait on a heaven. I mean, these are all things outside of self. And in your journey, because believe it or not, whether you like it or not, we're all on a journey. Whether you believe you're on a journey or not, this life is nothing more than just a journey. Now, the fill in the blank part is, what do you do between the beginning, the Beresheeth, between the Aleph and the Tav, between the beginning and the end? What are you doing in between there? And that's where things can get pretty, wonderful and beautiful, or things can be like hell. Like everybody said, man, I'm living in hell. Well, it's because you created the hell that you're living in. Or some may say, like I always say, it's just another day for me in paradise, because that's the world that I decide to create for myself as a creator, because that's what you are. We all creators. Now, what you've created, you can ask yourself this question: well, what have I been creating? Now, have you passed that mantle of creation on to somebody else? And a lot of people have, because I hear it just by what they say as a student of human nature. They sit there and say, well, the pastor said this, or mama said this, and daddy said this. Well, you have passed your creation skills on to somebody else to create a world for you. Or they say, oh, well, my husband said this, or my wife said this. Well, at the end of the day, again, you have passed your creation skills on to somebody else to create for you. And thus, you can't complain when your world is upside down and right side up, or you're living in a proverbial hell, or you're in the heaven. You're in that proverbial heaven, or you're in paradise down here on this earth. I don't have to wait for heaven to come to me. I'm having heaven now. And that's the mentality, and that's the mindset that needs to take place. and the evolution of you waking up Israel and coming back into who you really are as a people and as a person, as an individual, and what powers or source, whatever you want to call it, source, power, energy, source energy, whatever name you want to put on it. What is the purpose in my life? Because I tell you, one of the biggest questions that I had, Mishpah, was this. It was like, okay, I'm on this earth now. What does God want me to do? What does source, what am I here to do? You see, I have life. I've been animated with the breath of life. The most highest source energy has breathed into my nostrils. Now, what am I to do? I'm animated. Now, what am I supposed to do? Now, majority of folks have the Bible in their homes. The Bible, from what I understand, is still one of the best-selling books in the world. The Bible is. They have it, but they really don't understand it. And the Bible has been changed so much. It's been messed with and tampered so much and altered to meet a particular agenda that you can't really get the spirit and the essence, the very essence of what the Bible really is meant to be. When you look at it at the end of the day, the Bible, all it is a history of the Hebrews. It's a history book of the Hebrews. Now that book has been taken and it has been, and many religions have been created out of that book within itself. But all the Bible is just it's a history book of the Hebrews. A wonderful history book of the Hebrews and the evolution of the Hebrews. And the promises that were made to the Hebrews, that many religions have adopted these promises for themselves and have, assimilated, and have changed the Bible in such a way to where it meets their particular agenda. And I would encourage you all to be of good cheer and be of good comfort. As a majority of you, how many of you have come out of religion? Put up a capital R if you come out of somebody's religion. Islam, Christianity, Catholicism, the Baptist system. If you come out of somebody's religion, I would encourage you all to be of good cheer and be comforted in that that's all part and parcel of the plan. You see, because, don't see it as like, oh man, all this time wasted and I was just caught up in that mumbo jumbo. No, see it as this, is that now you've gained experience and not only can you sympathize, but you can empathize with folks in that particular situation. You see, because now you can see bad for what it really is because you've been in bad. And you can recognize good even more so, you see, because you don't have appreciation of heaven like you don't have appreciation of what's good until you went through hell, until you realize what's bad. I've been through that with a lot of relationships. So now I'm in heaven when it comes to a relationship now because I've been through hell in relationships, the proverbial hell, literally hell here on this earth, and some relationships caught up, behind some women that I created for myself. Can't blame the woman. I did that. And so the minute we can begin to instead of pointing the finger, begin to deal with ourselves and realize, man, everything that's happening in my life, I created. How many of you have come to that realization? Everything in your life, you created it. Some way, shape, form, or fashion. When you get to that point, oh man, you really got a leg up. When you get to that point to where you realize, I can't blame nobody else. I can't sit here and run my ex under the bus, the man under the bus, the history of America under the bus because of Rosa Parks. I can't sit here and do all that. I have to take responsibility for self and understand that I'm on this journey for myself. When I take my last breath, there's nobody else taking that last breath with me. When I go to sleep with my forefathers and my foremothers, there's nobody else going to be there with me. When I stand before source energy, there's nobody going to be there with me but me. So, the realization is quit passing the buck. And a lot of people waste a lot of time passing the buck. You see it as students of human nature. It's everybody's fault but themselves. When you can come to the realization, look, man, I got to begin to learn to deal and I have to be on guard about what I create. Because all of you in this room understand that words have power. And if we're not on guard and we don't guard ourselves against what words we speak out of our mouth, because, words, just like us as forms of energy, words too have energy. Shabbat shalom to you, James. Devorah says, we are now brighter lights in the earth because of our life experiences. Oh, indeed, Devorah. But the most important thing that folks that need to understand is that you don't build a house or your foundation based upon the experience. Because a lot of folks will stay in her experience forever and they'll never move on in the journey. Because, oh man, I remember how that girl did me. Ooh, that ex-wife did me wrong. And then you take that baggage into the next relationship. And that's not fair. That's not fair to neither side. So you gain from the experience and you don't look back. Like Lot's wife, don't look back. It was a great experience. Maybe you recall the experience so that you don't do what? You don't go through that same experience again and let it be another stumbling block for you on your path or in your journey as you walk the face of this earth. And as you humbly and with great gratitude, have high respect to source, to powers for this great gift of life that we do have. A lot of people abuse the great gift of life. But, I mean, all of you in this room understand that, life is a great gift. It's a gift. Now how you want to create your life and your journey. How many of you've ever planned a trip somewhere, wherever you want to go, the Caribbean, Jamaica, and, Israel, China. You want to go to Russia. You want to go down there, land down under Australia to see the original Aborigines people down there, wherever you want to go. You plan a trip. And in your planning of the trip, you think of all the disasters that's going to take place. Ooh, man, I'm thinking about, oh, man, is it going to be a typhoon? Is the plane going to crash when I get on it? How many of you have them kind of experiences when you plan a journey? I hope none of you do. My desire is that none of you have that kind of mindset. But you're thinking about all the lovely things you're going to do, the places that you're going to see. You get these brochures and you open up, the travel brochures. You say, wow, I'm going to go to this place. Wow, this place is so beautiful. And in your imaginations, you already see yourself going to all these different places, experiences these different foods and all these other different things and all the different places that you're going to see. And you're going to take pictures over here and all this, that, the other, and the third. I tell you, and that's the beauty of a relationship with yourself, but more importantly, a relationship with this great gift that we have, the gift of life, is that, you can make those experiences real. You can create those kind of experiences for yourself and they will become real. Why? It's because your energy is focused on all the positivity and not the negativity that can happen. Not the bad things that can happen. But even in the bad things, there's good that comes out of the bad situations. As we talk about these past experiences and all of our past experiences, you may have said, man, that was hell. I mean, I went through hell dealing with that situation. But even in hell, you can gain great experience and there's good in it. You see, everybody looks at this COVID. Everybody looks at this, Wuhan virus, this, that, the other, and the third, COVID, and they only see the hell in it, destruction and death and depression and, sickness and all this, that, the other. But how many of you are witnesses and watchers to the very fact that in this corona latent state that you have been blessed, that great things have happened to you, and you're a watcher and you're a witness to great things that have occurred in your life during this time? I can tell you I have. I'm one of those persons. I don't sit here and look at all the negativity and the death and destruction. Now, you remember, we come from a mindset that we're Israel. We used to plagues. We used to plagues. We used to famine. And guess what? We survived. And we will survive. We like baby's kids. We don't die. We multiply. We're survivors. So regardless of what presents itself to you, always see it. And see, you have to put yourself in the mindset of always seeing the positivity in it, because there's good in every bad. But most folks don't want to dig enough to get to the good because they just deal with what's on the surface, the superficial bad. What's there, what they see in their face. And they don't understand is that in their so-called bad as they created this bad, because I don't see anything as bad. That's the kind of mindset that I come from. Because I've taken my mind and I've taken control over my mind. And as students of human nature, I want you to observe that there's 6 days of labor. Most folks don't have control over their mind. Their mind is controlling them. But when you take control of that wonderful tool, that source energy that the powers of Israel has given us, that mind, to be able to utilize it for its wonderful tool that it is to create, and to invent and to inspire, Baruch Hashem, then that's half the battle as well. And you've already won the war because you've already come with a mindset that cannot be beat. You cannot be beat. You cannot be conquered because you are the conqueror. You see, many folks have the Bible in their house, but they don't even understand how to wield that sword and how to use it for their benefit and to see a physical presentation and experiment of using the Bible as a great weapon that it is to reap the benefits, not in the world to come, in this world right now. How to have blessings and health and abundance right now. Not on the by and by or when I take my last breath. That's a bunch of pig water. And I don't drink pig water, by the way. I'm not permitted to drink pig water. I'm not permitted to eat pig, so I don't eat it. But again, this is where we are. And a lot of folks don't have that. But again, Baruch Hashem, give thanks to the creator of the heavens and the universes and source energy, the powers of Israel, that we all have that mindset, waking up out of our slumber. How many of you have woken up out of your slumber? You're Israel, and you've woken up out of your slumber, and you realize, man, all these years I've been fed a bunch of pig water, and I ate a lot of pig as well, because I was right in the mix too. Coming from Louisiana, Alessi would tell you, we eat the pig from the rooter to the tutor. And that's what it was, because that's what we were taught. That's what we were conditioned to know. Right, Rabbi Zakari got a good laugh about that. But yeah, we eat the pig from the rooter to the tutor. Because that's what we were brought up. And we were told, oh, you Africans, you African Americans, you this, that, the other, and the third. I was never told that I'm the descendants of the Hebrews. And that my forefathers came over on these ships as slaves. Not because we were, we wanted that one-way ticket on that cruise. No, it's because that we were at angst and that we had disobeyed our source, our powers, the God of Israel. And thus it came with, if you read Deuteronomy 27 and 28, it came with conditions. And we broke the conditions. You see? And what happened is now, and a lot of folks see the exile. We in exile right now. We're dispersed to the four corners of this earth and all these, shepherd nations and all these lands. And a lot of folks see that as a bad thing. I don't. I actually see it as a blessing. Because we're being protected and kept for that perfect time and preserved. What are we told in our books? That we are the what? We are the salt of the earth. Is that not correct? Correct me if I'm wrong, but our books tell me that we are the salt of the earth. And what does salt do? Salt preserves. So we're being preserved in these nations. And we're being a blessing to these nations by building these nations up. We prosper in these nations. And we're not in these nations to protest and do all this mumbo jumbo. Because at the end of the day, remember, you're a sojourner. You're a sojourner in these lands. Yeah, you can buy all the real estate that you want in these nations. But always remember that you have land, you have inherited land in Israel, Baruch Hashem. But we're here to be a blessing to these lands, not a curse. We're here to bring, I don't know who said it earlier. Somebody said it. We're here to bring light. I think it was Devorah. Correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody said it earlier. We're here to bring light to these nations, not darkness. So how do we do that? First of all, we need to correct our mindset and get our light on and come out the darkness, right? And Baruch Hashem. We all have had that experience in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And for most of us, we're still evolving in that experience, right? Of coming out of the darkness into light to where you see things totally different. You see, try this experiment at home. You turn off all the lights in your house and try to maneuver your way around your house and see if you don't bump into things, trip over things, break things. But when you come into the light and you turn on the light, then it's easy to navigate. You see exactly where you're going because you know where you're going and you know where you want to go. And this is what HaKohen, the priest in the gate, the priest of Israel, not the Roman Catholicism priesthood. No, we're talking about the priesthood of Israel. This is where he has ushered and brought us to as the teachers, mandated teachers for the children of Israel, for those sons, the children, the sons and daughters of Jacob, Baruch Hashem. We all are part of that family. At the end of the day, when you look at it, you look at Israel, all Israel is just a family. Jacob and his sons, his 12 sons. That is Israel. That's just a family. And before that, we were Hebrews. You know, before we crossed over to the Jordan, our forefathers, we were Hebrews. We were followers of Abraham. Abrahu. That's where they get that word Hebrew from. Abrahu. We followed Abraham. And we know what Abraham, unless you're going to like this part, Abraham's father did come right out of India. Abraham's father was serving all those different powers, wasn't doing anything for him, had all those different statues. And Abraham said, just like the majority of us said, the light bulb came on and we came out of our darkness. Abraham said, man, no, there's got to be more to life than this. And he began his search for powers, for source energy. And he picked up some mentors that guided and instructed him. One of those mentors was Noah. He went to Noah for some truth. He wanted the facts on the ground, because everybody gonna come to you with some form of truth. And I was telling my daughter this the other day, is that some people, what you need to understand is, you know, a good lie is gonna have some truth in it. If you're gonna tell a good lie, it's gonna have some truth in it. There's got to be a good lie. You know what I mean? So even Abraham, when we look at our forefather Abraham, even he had the ability, something didn't agree with his spirit. Something didn't agree with his ruach. He said, wait a minute. Why in the world am I going to serve all these statues and not even doing nothing for me? We give them all this food, they don't eat it. You know, they're not doing anything to benefit our lives. I'm not seeing anything in the physical world that, you know, these statues are doing. So I'm not going to go the route of my father. I'm going to go a different route. And a lot of you have done that very same thing. You're not going the route of your mother, your grandmother, and what your father and them doing in these religions, because they hell bent and stuck like Chuck in these religions, because the conditioning is deep, isn't it? And then for you to go against the grain and say you're not going to do these things, or you don't want to do these things, or you're going a different route, oh man, they say you as wicked, as evil, as is there something wrong with you? I mean, when my relatives realized that I had my butt in China, they was like, why the heck you want to go to China for? Why are you way over there? When they never left the borders of Louisiana. So I understood. I didn't get angry. Well, why are you over there? And, you know, they talk about you and make all these jokes. What you doing in China for? Well, why not go to China? Why you just can't get a wife right here in Louisiana? Why do I have to just get a wife in Louisiana? You see, it's that conditioning. And as students of human nature, you need to realize that and recognize that and be compassionate in that. And like I was talking about earlier, as you come out of religion, you need to not only sympathize, but empathize with those family members, friends, and loved ones that's still in it. Because you were there at one time. So you should even empathize and have more sympathy towards these people and compassion towards your family members, friends, and loved ones. Now, I say they're condemning them and putting them down and degrading them. That's not just, and that's not fair. Because you two have to remember, at one time you were enslaved and you were a slave to that religion. You were shackled to, you know, the Virgin Mary and the rosary and all that mumbo jumbo and Catholicism and going through catechism and all that stuff. And being dinked and dunked in all these different Baptist churches and all that stuff and blah, blah, blah. So that's where we are right now. We're light. We're not darkness. We're not here to, you know, leave folks in more dark. We're here to, you know, to illuminate our life by just how we live our life. And then folks, you're going to find that folks are going to be attracted to you. You're going to attract certain folks to you. And there's things that's going to happen, right, Alessi? There's things that's going to happen in your life at just the perfect time to where you just needed to hear this, or that's something that you need to do to further you along in your journey, to take you to the next step on where you want to go and where you want to be. Now, I need to make this point, and this is a historical point. This is a historical point. Now, when those ships came over and they sailed over in the Atlantic slave trade, everybody on those ships weren't Hebrews. I want you to understand that. They weren't descendants of Jacob. I want you to understand that. A lot of them were descendants of Ham, another one of Noah's sons. You see, a lot of them were descendants of Ham, so they're Hamites. So you'll see this in Louisiana. I see it down south a lot. A lot of blacks and browns are waking up to the fact that they are, and you know what they connect to? They connect with Egypt. And it's true. And they're connecting right back to their source. They connecting with who they are, because a lot of these folks are Egyptians that they calling African Americans, and they calling black, and they calling all these other names outside of who they really are. A lot of them are Egyptians, and they going back to their true heritage and who they really are. See, there's a big awakening that's been occurring, and it's been going on for, from what I've seen, for at least 7 to 10 years. I've been watching this as I study human nature, and people are coming out of this, the shackling and the controlling in these religions, and they're going back to their very essence and who their forefathers and their foremothers really were. And a lot of these blacks and browns, and I'm seeing it down south, a lot of them are, they really have embraced the Egyptian, the ancient Egyptian, and they're looking at the pyramids, and they're big on Ra, and they wearing their unks and all these symbols because that's who they are. You see? Devorah says, a lot of the Hamites really dislike us. I've experienced this. Well, you're going to find, that, a lot of jealousy is you'll see it in the blacks and the browns. There's a lot of jealousy that takes place. You see, if a black person will open up a business, how many black people going to patronize that business just because it's a black-owned business? You see, you need to look at that and examine that, and you'll find that you'll find the opposite side of the spectrum. There's a lot of jealousy in place. A lot of jealousy because, a black and brown will get ahead, and the other blacks and browns not happy because that black and brown has got ahead. So if they can't be happy, they want to make the black and brown that did get ahead unhappy as well. And so you leave them to it. That's a great experience that you've experienced, Devorah, and I'm glad you see that for what it really is. But for the most part, blacks and browns, they'll get along. They may not like it that that you in another light, because for the most part, it's just out of ignorance, because, they want to be up ahead, but they don't know how to. They don't know how. How do I get ahead in this society in 2020? How do I get ahead? Who do I go to? You see, and that's one of the most important things that folks need to understand in their journey is, who do you listen to? Who are you listening to? That is the paramount, one of the most important things for you to get on in this life before you take your last breath and move on to the next life, is to understand, who did you listen to? Who have you listened to? Because at the end of the day, if they're not producing anything of true, physical presentation, manifestation, then you need to move on. Pastor been saying a lot of things to me for a long time, but nothing that he said materialized in my life. So I realized I had to move on. And Sunday church day for me was Sunday work in the yard day. Very quick. Came very quick for me. I'm not going to sit around. I need to see, you know what I need to see? I need to see results. If I don't see results, then it's time for me to move on and test the next thing. And when you look at our Bible, when you look at our history as Hebrews, and you look at the God that we serve, the powers that we serve, source energy, the powers of Israel, he was all about testing, right? It's all about a test. Testing. I'm going to test you because you need to be proven. See, I want results. So you need to prove to me that, your method, your technique will work. And if you can't prove it, then I'm going to move on to the next one. I'm not going to stay with you just because, everybody else is doing it, so it must be right. That's the mentality of a lot of folks. Like the sheep led to the slaughter. Everybody else is going that way, so I'm going to go that way too. Well, just because everybody else going that way doesn't make that correct. But we've been conditioned to think that the bigger the numbers, the better. You see? If there's big, then consensus rules, but that's not necessarily the case. Because, Israel, the chosen people of the powers of Israel, Israel has been chosen. Catholics have been chosen. The Christians have been chosen, but Israel is a chosen people. And you can read it right in that Bible that they have in their house. Israel is a chosen people. Chosen. We are chosen people, Mishpah. Think about that for a minute. You have been chosen. So if we have been chosen, then we have a choice to choose, right? We have a choice to choose on how we want to live our life and go through this journey. You can choose. Just like everybody else on the face of this earth has the ability to choose. And it's not, I'm not trying to be prejudiced in no way, shape, form, or fashion. You know, I love all colors, man. Black, browns, yellows, greens. It don't matter to me. But at the end of the day, just based on choice, and I'm going to show you how powerful, your belief system is if you choose to believe what you believe in. At your very core. If Japheth, one of the sons of Noah, if his descendants can take the place of Shem's, descendants, like you see today. These people run around here. We have them in San Antonio. You have them in your city as well. They calling themselves Jews, and they're Caucasian people. I have nothing against Caucasian people. Nothing against them whatsoever. But if they can begin to think and begin to say, and their very being, and begin to believe, they believe, oh, we are the Jews. We are the chosen people. Guess what? They too can become the chosen people because that's what they believe in at their very root core. I remember when I first came into the knowledge of the truth. I came into the knowledge of who I am, the truth, me, the person, the individual. One of the first things I had a problem with when I began to read the Bible, I was like, wait a minute. I got very angry. I was like, wait a minute. These people are not the people, but we've been hoodwinked and bamboozled all this time. And my Bible told me, if I bless the Jews, I'm going to be blessed. Man, I begin to bless the Jews. I begin to give Jews all kind of money. Because I realized, well, if I bless the Jews, then I'm going to be blessed. I'm like, wait a minute. This whole time I've been hoodwinked and bamboozled. And didn't realize I am that Jew. I was like, wait a minute. So I got a little angry. I got mad. I was like, wait a minute. I need to correct this wrong. And believe me, being super Hebrew, that was the wrong stance that I took. I became zealous. I became like militant Hebrew. No, I'm going to tell these people that they're wrong. They're not the chosen. Well, no, that's the wrong stance to take. They are the chosen if they desire to be the chosen. If they truly believe within their source, within their subconscious, and at their very core that they are the chosen, guess what? They are the chosen. You can't tell them that they're not. And again, the evidence on the ground proves it. Are not our covenants working for the Jews? They sure are. The converse, the reverse, however you want, it doesn't matter. If you claim and you believe within your very core of self, of your subconscious, that you want to embrace the customs and the laws and the traditions of the Jews, no matter what they color, then you fall under the umbrella of the covenants. Everybody's have adapted to covenants. Christians, Catholics, Muslims. They tell you about the 10 Commandments. My mother tells me that all the time. She says, son, you don't need to tell me nothing about that stuff. None of the other stuff what you telling me about, because, my belief is the 10 Commandments, and I'm going to stick to the 10 Commandments. Well, that's part of the covenants of Israel. She say, I'm going to live and die off of these 10 Commandments. I say, so be it, Mom. So be it. So be it, Mama. If that's how you going to roll, and that makes you happy, and that gives you peace and joy and love at the end of the day, so be it. I'm so happy for you. Those 10 Commandments are powerful. The 10 words, the 10 statements, they're powerful. But again, you got to take it to its context. Who were those 10 Commandments written for? I always ask, well, were they written for the Catholics? Were they written for the Christians? Who are those 10 Commandments written for? Those 10 words. Who were they written for? They're written for Israel. Who were they written for? So you saying you want to be Israel? Well, I guess that's what I'm saying. I say Baruch Hashem. So people are going to be at all different levels, and we have to cater to those levels. We have to be light to their level. You can't be darkness, and you don't want to throw water on the light that they do have. You know what I mean? The word says Jews are known to be associated with money, prosperity, wealth, and that's us. Oh, indeed. Now, these Caucasian people here in San Antonio calling themselves Jews, oh man, they're very prosperous. They have good businesses. They're doing well for themselves. They have nice homes. Baruch Hashem. When I say Baruch Hashem to that, I don't get jealous of that because I'm right in the mix with them. And so all of you listening via YouTube as well, you can be right in the mix with them. If you want to embrace Israel and come under the umbrella of the Torah of Moses, of Musa, of Moshe, come underneath those first 5 books and begin to embrace them and let them become a part of you. I tell you, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Because you see, it's not a religion. It's a way of life. It's a way you live. You see, we're believers, we're followers of the way of Abraham, that way, the way of Noah, that way, the way of Isaac and Jacob, that way. It's a way of life. It's a lifestyle. It's how you live your life. Certain things we're permitted to do, certain things we're not permitted to do, and so be it. I'm not going to condemn people who say likewise, who want to do other things. That's how you want to roll. Then roll that way. If it makes you happy and it gives you peace and love and joy at the end of the day, that's what I want for all humanity. And you want to talk about numbers? Israel will always be small. We're a chosen people, yet we're small. So when you talk about consensus, Shabbat Shalom, luxury class, it's good to see you. When you talk about consensus, the bigger the numbers, that doesn't matter to me. And it didn't matter to the God of Israel either. He took the smallest of all nations. And you look at Israel today, it's like the crown on Africa's head. It's like on Mother Africa, the continent of Africa. It's like the crown, Baruch Hashem. Little piddly little nation, right? But the land is blessed. The soil is blessed. That's a blessed land. And they call it what? They call it the Holy Land. It truly is a blessed land. I've been there. And a lot of you have too. And I know a lot of you imagine and you intend and you're scripting to go there as well. Because you got to go. I'm saying don't try to live there though. Because all of those blacks and browns that went over there on their so-called manufactured aliyah and exodus back to the land, over there living like 5th class citizens. They burned their passports to whatever country they were in, and they went over there and, again, zealous, overzealous, super Hebrews, and now they're over there, living off the sustenance of the government and trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. And it's just not happening. While we were over there, I went over there with Hakohi, with Rabbi Simon. We went over there, I tell you, we even had to gift out money. We circulated money for them to get food. They were asking us, hey, we would offer y'all some food, but we don't have any, so, we're giving them, circulating money, giving them food. So don't try to go over there and live. Go over there, you pay homage. You go to the temple that's in ruins. Believe me, it's in ruins. You go down there to Tel Arad and you pay homage. And then you go back to the land and you wait. You wait for that appointed time. And we wait. And while we're waiting, we're in these lands doing great things. Inventing, prospering these lands, buying up real estate, starting great businesses, doing great things that's going to raise up these nations. This is what a light does. A light, if you notice, and you can do this test with your children, you turn on the light, does it say anything? The light don't say nothing. You can talk to the light all you want, but the light not going to talk back to you. A light just does. And we're here to do in these nations. We're here just to do. You don't have to say anything. Your family members, loved ones, and friends. No, you don't have to say anything. But I guarantee you, there will be folks that will be attracted to you. They'll ask you questions like, why you never this? Or you always at peace? What's going on? And then you can begin to give them little golden nuggets and see what they do with it. Because, at the end of the day, and just like I can say for all of your experiences and mine as well, there comes a point in time to where you're ready. You know what I mean? How many know what I'm talking about? And until you get to that point in time to where you're ready, my goodness, everything in the kitchen sink can be thrown at you and it won't make sense. Or you may even reject it because you're not ready. You have to be at that point to where you're ready. And only you know when you're ready. And when you're ready, you're ready. And that's what it is at the end of the day. You come to that point. Vive la France, allez-vous. Shabbat shalom to you. You get to that point to where you're ready. And you know when you're ready. You don't have to wait for a pastor to tell you ready. Your husband to tell you that you're ready. Your wife to tell you that you're ready. You know when you're ready. Your mother to tell you, well, mama said I'm ready. Well, water boy, this ain't mama. When you're ready, you'll know when you're ready. And then you'll be able to act appropriately. And you'll be able to receive, the facts that's on the ground. Because how many of you know history's been skewed? And believe me, whatever was done in the dark is going to come to the light. It's just a matter of when. What period is that going to happen? But first, and more importantly, the light bulb needs to come on within you. You need to go from darkness into the light. And just like we read in Beresheeth, just like the Most High said, the creator of all things, he said, light be. And then light was. That experience needs to happen to each and every one of us. And on that note, I'm going to fire up our Kohen's lecture, then I'm going to come in on my lecture on the backside. But I think it's paramount and very important that we understand is that, everything happens within, not without. You don't have to go searching for nothing without. You need to fix within. You need to get with, use the mind for the wonderful tool that it is. Take back control because, unfortunately, the mind has been in control for a very long time. And the mind has hoodwinked and bamboozled you and told you you had your heart broken so many times and blah, blah, blah. And the mind is taking you down this rabbit hole. Now you need to take control of that mind. Get inside yourself, inside that subconscious, inside of you. Some call it that spirit within them. That's your subconscious. And that's that small, that quiet voice that's instructing you. Sometimes we listen to that voice and sometimes we don't. Some call it spirit. Some call it the Holy Spirit. Some in the Hebrew we call it the Ruach HaKadosh, the set apart spirit. The Ruach, the spirit. That's that subconscious. That's within you. And it's built within each and every one of us because at the end of the day, we all are creations of the Creator. And we all have that within us. Some is deeper than others, and some is more superficial. The way you can call on it, you can call on that ruach, you can call on your subconscious, and it just rings right on up. Boom, just like that. And you can begin to create your world just like that. You could begin to imagine, visualize, you could begin to script, and it happens just like that. Just like you want it to happen. That's the real world. That's heaven here on this earth. Not waiting on some fictitious heaven. No, that's heaven right now. Was it the Isley Brothers? Who made that song? Heaven on earth. Somebody talked about heaven. You can have heaven on earth. I can't remember. It's one of those oldies but goodies. But you can have heaven here, right here on this earth. But a lot of folks have been conditioned to think, well, we got to wait to get to heaven, and we got to suffer here on this earth to even have some kind of form of heaven. That's a bunch of pig water. It's not true. But again, a lot of folks can't stomach that. If I tell it to my father, he's going to look at me like I'm crazy, say I'm full of the devil. No. But again, you can have that peace and love and joy now. You can have prosperity now. You can have your health right now. There's no such thing as a suffering servant. That's a bunch of pig. Oh, I gotta suffer for God. I gotta suffer. No. Source energy, the creator of all things, didn't put you. What kind of creator want his creation to suffer? That's foolishness. But again, a lot of folks think that way. So we're gonna fire up Hakoin's lecture, and then I'll come in on the backside, Mishpachah. I say Shabbat Shalom and Shalom Shalom to all of you. Hey, if you can't, it was a temptation to die for that Yael woman of the tent. So if you can't hear the lecture, let me know, and I'll make the necessary adjustments that need to be made. But we're going to fire up Hakoin's lecture as it's been pre-recorded. Okay, here it goes, Mishpachah. We're firing it up now.
Shabbat Shalom, Mishpachah. This is Rabbi Simon Alter Hakoin. This lecture today, I'm going to be pre-recording this lecture. As you can hear, I'm not doing this live. because I'm going to be traveling in the evening. So I've decided that, by the time that I get to your Sabbath start, it's my evening time by that time, and I'll probably be planning to travel out because I'm traveling to the UK, England, and I wanted to let you know so you can understand things are about to how things are changing around us with the new coronavirus, the plague that we're dealing with. And apparently, right now, what I had to do is I had to go to a laboratory over here, one of the recognized laboratories. I had to get a COVID-19 test done. I had to prove that I am negative, which I am, and then I had to present that to the airline before I can fly out. These are the new requirements for airlines. At least it appears it's not just here; it's the same in England. Because my brother is flying out from England, and he told me the same thing, that they are making him take a test. He has to prove that he is negative before he can travel out. And then he has to do the same back to the UK. And since I'm going to the UK, I have to prove to get on the airline that I'm negative. This is just a new money spinner. That's all it is. It's a money spinner at the end of the day. And I can see what's coming down the road. What will next be on the road will be that you have to be vaccinated against the virus and perhaps again prove that you're negative, and then you're allowed to travel. I think that's coming down the road as is happening over here. Now, of course, domestic travel, I did a domestic travel in Pakistan. I had no problems, no need for any tests, nothing like that. But apparently, if you're going abroad, the UK government's not requiring you to make a negative test. They're not asking for it, but the airlines are. So clearly, within this whole scheme, you got laboratories lining up to hook up with airlines, and airlines, with laboratories and governments. So this is probably going to be a 3-tier program in which you got government taking money, airline taking money, and the lab taking money. So, this is why I said it's a money spinner. The whole thing is become a business propaganda. And although, the plague is real, it's not that the plague is not real. Plague is very real. But a lot of things around it that are happening are only making the plague worse and not better. Because, let's just put it this way, if you took a test yesterday and you boarded an airline, nothing is there to say that you're not going to be infected between the time last night and between the time tonight before you board. That's number one point. Because a person can be infected with this plague and be completely symptom-free. He could still be carrying it. Now, that's one scenario. The other scenario is this, that an air hostess, air steward, could be carrying it unbeknown to her, and she could be passing it to passengers in a plane, because all you need, plane passengers are only maybe 3 foot apart, and they're too close to each other in proximity. It's very easy to pass it. Even if they keep one seat empty, it's still very easy to pass it. Because, the time I traveled, if you remember, I may have spoken about it, that there was one seat free between each passenger. But, that's hardly 3 foot space between two seats. So, as I was saying that, between the seats, there's hardly 3 foot. You can't say there's a 3 foot space, because there's more than, less than 3 foot. So that was the flight when I came in from the US. There were one passenger on and one off between seats. I wouldn't qualify that as even a 3 foot space personally, but maybe you can. And so, like I was saying, that this is a plague, and we need to deal with it as a plague. And as I said last time, that collectively nations need to at least repent, or at least appeal to God, if they don't want to repent, another way to put it is they can appeal to God to, allay the plague's effect. Now, of course, I as a Kohen, I will always, appeal to God, petition to God to help the people, help our people, help other people. I will always do that, irrespective. But I believe that this needs to be done on a wider scale. Now, of course, there's a lot of theories, whistleblowers and theories that China was working on this disease, or at least working on this virus biologically, and they created it, and then they released it into the air, and all sorts of things are being said and done that they, such and such doctor said this and such doctor said that, and she's under hiding and blah, blah, blah. A lot of that is going on. Though, I'm not here to verify or not verify conspiracy theories. To me, as far as I'm concerned, the plague has affected the world. Doesn't matter where it came from. As far as America is concerned, I don't think it's accurate to say that America got it from China. It is more accurate to say that America got it from Europe, because it came in from Europe into New York, and New York was probably the first place that got hit really hard. And so they end up, doing lockdowns to control it, and then the rest of the country followed suit. Now, that's the real storyline, is that it came from Europe. Europeans, whether those Europeans were native Europeans or immigrant Europeans, they brought it on the plane and they passed it on. Basically, that's really the true narrative of the story. Now, the Chinese ones that came in with the disease, they probably came in afterwards from China. By that time, China had already curtailed their people traveling out. Now, whether Chinese did it, whether the CIA did it, or whether somebody else did it, it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what we have in front of us is the whole world got affected by it. That's what we have in front of us. At least where I am right now, there's no lockdowns. At least most of the cities that I know of. Although in the north, I heard that they are putting partial lockdowns in what they call smart lockdowns in hotspots, because the plague seemed to be rearing its head over there. But I also heard that in England they were gone for 3-tier system, and the north is a lot worse than the south, and so they are locking down real hard in the north, and then followed by other areas. America, how we feel about, as Americans, we don't feel all that great about lockdowns, because we know that lockdowns destroy economies. They affect the people, and it's not a good idea to coop up people in a home, because if one person is affected, it'll affect everybody else. So, this is how we feel about lockdowns. Lockdowns is not the way to go. I've always said that the Sweden model was the best model. Leave everything open and deal with the hotspots and educate the people. That's the best way to deal with it. And that's been proven so far. I guess Pakistan, on the other hand, they adapted a similar model, smart lockdown, where they didn't lock down everywhere. They only locked down a few places, hotspots, and they allowed the people to continue to function. They shut down the schools. Now they reopened the schools and colleges. So, you can't shut down business. It's just impossible to do that. And I had a Christian friend who I do intend to form when I get to England. He once said to me that, the British people, it's very hard for the British people to give up the pub and their bars. But, last night's news in England was that all the bars and the clubs in Lancashire, north of England, are all shut down. They are supposed to remain shut. I don't know if it's for 2 weeks or more, but they are definitely shut. For now, that means that the British pub goers won't be able to go to their bars and clubs. That's a big thing for those guys over there, because that's their lifestyle. That's how they live. So anyhow, Baruch Hashem, that we're all safe. We're all well. Our people are all safe and well. I haven't heard of too many casualties in our people, and so that's kind of good. But just overall, I would suggest, my suggestion is keep healthy, keep safe, and take the supplements that help you the most. And those that I have found to be the most helpful are zinc, vitamin D, and even magnesium. Those are good. And if you take any others apart from that, that's great. You already know about the Artemisia annua. That's absolutely brilliant to have with you and use. Even if you are like in the midst of the plague with other people, that will protect you to some extent. One thing that was proven by our president in the U.S. was that I know that he was taking chloroquine and zinc, and when he did get the plague, the virus, you notice that his symptoms were not as severe as some other people. Although even he was an older, he was in the older severe category, 74 years old, and he was in the severe category of, high risk. But I believe that because he was taking the chloroquine tablets and the zinc, that did affect him less. And they didn't have to put him on respirator or anything like that. He came out pretty quickly from the hospital. So, a lot of people were saying that this is propaganda, he was never sick, and it was just a publicity stunt. Again, I'm not here to verify it or not verify it. That's not really my sphere. But having said that, the point is that certain supplements seem to help you better than others. So keep up with your supplements. They will help you to keep safe. If, heaven forbid that any of you get the virus, then at least you won't be as heavily affected as other people. So best to keep safe, and prevention is always better than cure. Now, the coronavirus, the plague, is going to be with us. The reality is this: you can produce all the vaccines of the world. Russia's already got 2. America's working on a few. England's working on vaccine. So is other countries, Canada, etc. You can produce all the vaccines, whether they are good, whether they are bad, whether they are evil. It doesn't matter. People will take them, and some people will be okay, and other people will get ill. That's just the nature of the vaccines. That's just how it is. Let's just call it what it is. Vaccines are not always bulletproof. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work. But we still have to deal with the disease. That means just like the flu virus, there was a swine flu, there was a regular flu. Just like the flu virus, this is obviously a lot more infectious. And just like we never lost the flu, it's still with us. I do not think that we are going to lose the coronavirus either. I believe that it will be in our society. Some people will get affected more than others. Those that are affected are usually those that have underlying conditions, and people will continue to die with it. It's just that's the reality on the ground. You can't change that. But what you can change is you can raise up your chances to live a healthy life, to prevent, and to keep safe. Now, I think that's suffice to say that's where we should be. And I believe, this is my personal belief, and my belief is that if you serve the God of Israel, that you have certain amount of protection anyway. Now, to some people that might be a vague statement, or there might be a religious statement, but look, I am in front of you. I'm a Kohen. I've traveled the world. I've traveled at times of when the virus was active, back in February this year. I was traveling the airports. I've traveled recently, and I'm traveling again. I'm right in front of you. A genuine case, I haven't acquired the virus. So, what do I call this? Good luck? Should I call it good luck? Should I call it good karma? What should I call this? I call it the protection from the God of Israel. That's what I call it. I call it the protection from the Torah of Yahweh that I serve. That's what I call it. Now, you may choose to call it something else. Some people may call it protection from Jesus. Some people may say protection from Allah. And that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. I believe that, each person, whatever faith that you hold valuable to yourself, there's nothing wrong for you to cling to your faith and to, believe in that, because belief counts. Why do we say that? Because, we come back to the perfect law, and we see that what you believe is usually what happens to you. If you believe that you're going to be getting sick, then you will get sick, because that's what you believe. That's your belief system. If your belief system says that you are healthy, then you will be healthy. That's your belief system. It doesn't matter what religious label you give yourself. So this is why I teach you that more than religious labels, belief system is much more important. Belief of you, what you believe. And because that's how you get affected. This is why I always say that, I am healthy should be a permanent statement on your affirmation list. I am perfect health. That should be an affirmation statement that always stays with you. That's something that's never going to come off your list. I am perfect health. Or, I am in perfect health. Or, I'm always healthy. These are all good statements to have on your list. And they should always be with you. Because, let's face it, just as, if you go out to work and you get a paycheck, you don't say to yourself, oh, well, I'm only going to work for 2 weeks and then I'm going to just sit down at home and do nothing. You obviously want to be in a paid job, paid salary all the time, or a business that you run. You want your business to always be beneficial to you and to the public around. So you're never going to say, oh, my business is for 1 day or 1 week. Your statement for your business is always going to be, my business is great. I am generating $1 million or so or more in my business. I am a great businessman. I have a prosperous business generating, $5 million. That's always going to be the case. So we always will make the statement regarding our business as a positive, present tense statement. A healthy business. You don't want to have a business that runs for 3 weeks, 6 months, and then packs up. So clearly, your business statement will probably be a statement that is always on, never off. You will read that affirmation as you're meant to read it. Now, I wanted to also let you know that I want to give thanks to Eddie, where it belongs. He helped to develop a new cover for my book, Bullseye, The Law of Manifestation. That book is now released. Since yesterday, I got a message yesterday from Amazon. They have released the book. It's out there now in Amazon. You can buy it. It's called Bullseye, The Law of Manifestation. Thank you, Eddie, for your help in making that happen. Because without your cover, obviously, we had to go through a lot of tweaks back and forth. But finally, we got it done right according to the requirement. And so I was able to push that out. So that is now out there in Kindle format and also in, regular paperback. So that's out there. I'll probably be looking at a hardback copy on Lulu, but I haven't pushed it out on Lulu yet. I will probably look for a hardback copy there. That's next on my goal. I'll probably do that when I get to England, because I'm going to be traveling later today, so lack time on that. So that book is out. I would highly encourage you to get a copy. It's excellent book. It gives you methods that are tested, that are tried, and that are proven. There's no maybe manifestation here, or there's no hope manifestation. This is proven manifestation, proven over time with myself and my students that are not just done what they did, but they're currently doing it. They are still testing different things in their life with me, talking to them privately. And we are refining our methods for speed and for success. So it's very important. Now today the Parsha is Beresheeth, and this is something that, I've kind of been holding back for many years, and I think time is now to speak about it. A lot of, I've heard a lot of debates on Beresheeth, Christian side Genesis, 6,000 years creation, and then I've heard the debate about 6 billion years or billion years of gap, gap theory, or it took billion years for the world to form, or the theory that, the world's only 6,000 years old, etc., etc. You probably heard it with me over the years. There's the Christian camp that talks about creationism only 6,000 years. There's the other camp within the Christian groups that talk about, no, it took longer. And then there's the Jewish camp, which says, well, if you look at it from the stars, then billions of years is a possibility because you work it back and it is billions of years that we can say, yes, we've been around for billions of years, etc., etc. Now, it doesn't matter, which side. To me, there's never been a issue whether you fell on the billion-year count, whether you fell on the 6,000 year. To me, that's never been an issue because I didn't see it like that. I don't see 6,000 years, I don't see billion years. To me, the statements are not dogmatic. Problem is that what the religious world did, they made the statements dogmatic. And I don't make them dogmatic, because when God says in the book of Genesis, when God says that in the beginning, Elohim, powers created the Shamayim, the heavens and the land was desolate and chaotic, and darkness was on the face of the deep. I don't see them dogmatic statements. I've never seen them as dogmatic statements to fight over. You see, you can fall to the camp of the fighters, or the or those that don't fight, or you can fall into the camp of the 6,000 year or the billion year. To me, that's irrelevant, because it's not a dogmatic statement. What God is saying in book of Genesis in the Torah is not dogma. It's not like, well, that's it, either it's this way or the highway. It's not like that. To me, the book of Genesis in various parts, in fact the whole Torah, and especially certain words, certain sounds, to me these are sounds. Genesis chapter 1 is all about sounds, and these sounds to me are much more valuable than this palaver about 6,000 years or 6 billion years. I don't really care about both of those statements, because to me, Beresheeth, bara Elohim, Alif Tav, Hashemayim v'ha'eretz, and then after that we have the second part, second sound, which is Ve ha'eretz, Hai ta'tohu v'vohu. These are sounds, Vechoshek, these are sounds. These are immensely powerful sounds, and I've, experimented over the years, and so I, maybe I've spoken about it before as well. I have spoken about it before, maybe not at length, but I have made meditations on the sounds. This is where the Yah sound comes from. The Yah sound comes from Genesis. This is where the Om sound comes from. The entire Indian nation is doing the Om sound, and the Om sound is coming from the book of Genesis. Because every word, almost, I say every word, doesn't mean every word, but it means that majority of the words in our Hebrew have the sound. So you have to ask the question, why? And you see, it's not always plurality. It's not always because it's plural. For instance, Shamayim has the sound. Shamayim. Now, is the Shamayim plural or is it singular? Well, it's used in both ways. It's used in plural and it's used in singular. Clearly proving my point. Ra, in bara, the sound bara, which is for create, it has a Ra sound. Now, the Ra sound is so very important in meditation. I teach it, and you should embrace it. And this is a great sound to embrace. The sheen sound, the sheath. It's an absolutely great sound to have. Absolutely great sound in the meditation. So one of the things that you could do is, the meditation I gave you, saying I told you to record the ya sound. Great sound to record. Listen to in the morning or in the evening when you sleep. It really activates parts of your brain. Ba, ra, shees. Ba, ra, shees. A-la-heen. A-la-heen. Om. In Shalom, for instance, you have Om in there. Om sound is in Shalom. So these are sounds you should be practicing in your meditation because they will highlight various areas of your brain, activate different areas of your brain. This is absolutely wonderful meditation practices. This is not about dogma, and so I'll never discuss dogma in Genesis chapter 1, because to me, that's the most foolish thing to do, is to put everything dogmatically and make it sound like, it's all about, whether 6 days or 6 billion. No, it's not. There's actually a bigger picture there. And the bigger picture is what I'm telling you. It's about creativity. Is that you are all co-creators. After God did the creation, He stopped, He rested. He ceased from His working. Now He put it into your hands, our hands. We are now the creators. We have to extend. We are technically like extenders. We're God's extenders. We create great things in our life. We create planes. We create trains. We create telephones, TVs, communication networks. Everything we create. Why? Because we are co-creators. People say co-creators. I prefer the term extenders. We're not even co-creators. We are extenders of God. God has put us on this earth to be extenders. We are extenders of light. We are extenders of creation. So when you read the book of Genesis, at least the first chapter, don't look at it dogmatically. Look at it from the sound side. Those first 4 or 5 sounds in there, the first 4 or 5 lines, they're absolutely critical to you activating different areas of your brain, which will allow you faster creation, faster manifestation, prosperity, abundance, happiness. All those things are yours to have. Come on, you don't have to go out and pay a guru $1,000 to guide you what to do, because that's what a lot of people are doing. They're paying $12,000, $13,000, $30,000. Go look for yourself. Bob Proctor is charging people $13,000 private consultations. He charges his associates. They have to pay something like $30,000 to become an associate. And then they'll be selling $13,000 packages so that Bob Proctor can make money on that. And that's the way they do it.
Oh.
But let me, as I teach you, you don't have to pay me $30,000 to teach you, because I'll teach you right here that you have sounds in the book of Genesis and they can be applied to your meditation. And they will activate areas of your brain which will make you an excellent creator. It will make you an excellent manifester. You want to manifest wealth. You want to manifest a beautiful spouse. You want to manifest a beautiful car, a nice home. All is in the realm of possibility. How many rabbis you heard say that to you? I've never heard a rabbi tell me that, hey, if you take the Beresheeth sounds, they'll give you this. I'm telling you, they will give you this. I am telling you, it's happening. It's happening with my students. It's happening with me. We're doing it. We are in the midst of practicing it. And so I encourage you, highly, highly encourage you, do not take the book of Genesis chapter 1 as a dogmatic statement. Leave it, leave dogma outside your front door. That's where it belongs. You don't want to be in either camp. The camp you want to be is in a great manifester, great creator, a successful person, abundant person, prosperous person, and look, your family will be likewise. They'll learn from you. your children, your relatives, your uncles, your aunties, they all can learn from you. Your sisters, your brothers, all of them can learn from you. You are an extender to God. You have the ability to create wonderful stuff in life. And that's just the way the design is. That is the design of God. God didn't design us to just live here in a cave and then, cook with sticks and that's it. That's our life. Just, go hunt and then just cook and that's it. No, we are extenders to God. We are great creators. We can create marvelous things, and we have. Today I'm going to be traveling to the UK. On a plane. Without the creation of a plane, the Wright brothers, in Ohio, without them even bothering to create the first plane, during the first flight, how would we be flying today? Think about that. So they created some wonderful stuff. And same with the light. Thomas Edison with the light. Without the light, today we'll be sitting in darkness, right? But we are not sitting in darkness. Means that we must be always grateful. We are always grateful to God that He's given us the ability to create. And I'm even more grateful that He's shown me these sounds that are so powerful for creation. This is why I made a plate. I don't know if Rabbi Kefa got the plates I sent him from Pakistan, the copper and the iron, the stainless steel plates, or maybe they're still in the post. Those plates, there is I think there was one plate in there that is to do with creation. It's got Genesis 1 sounds in there, in a plate. And even if you read if you didn't read the Hebrew, if you only looked at it and you ran your eyes across it, that will help you to create. Did you know that? Yes. Looking at the Hebrew, this is why we have the 72 names. Scanning them with your eyes will help you in your prosperity, in your protection. So Beresheeth bara Elohim, et ha-shamayim, wa et ha-eretz, these are all sounds of creation. They have primordial sounds in there. Ve ha-eretz, ha-ita tohu ve-vohu ve-choshech al-paneh, tehom ve-ruach Elohim, merach, merachefet al-panay hamayim. These are all sounds of creation. Don't see them as just, some ancient language and that's about it. It's not an ancient language. There's the sounds of creation. Elohim, the word that's little bit extended out. It wasn't always Elohim. As I explained to you, that sounds have changed somewhat. The Elohim, when it was Elohim, became Elohim. So Allah is a sound of creation. Ah is a sound of creation. La is a sound of creation. Ha is a sound of creation. Meme is a sound of creation. Within the name of God, within the title of God, there is a very powerful sound of creation. So when you say Elohim or Elohim, when you say that slow and you close your eyes and you do some breathing techniques, just regular breathing through your stomach, and you do this ah sound, which becomes a ya sound. Ya, ah, la, him, him. These are the sounds that are going to activate your midbrain. They're going to activate areas of your brain. So I absolutely encourage you, Mishpacha family, to do that. Sit down every day, even if you have 5 minutes in the morning or 5 minutes at night. Do that. You can quite easily just do those sounds. They're not hard. You can record them in your own voice. And if you're struggling to record it, I already have many meditations that are made. Just ask for it. I can send you the R meditation and the other meditations I created. They're free. They're not costly. And if they help you, absolutely wonderful. Also, I wanted to, just received a message, so I had to pause the recording to hear the message. It was from one of my students, and she told me that they had been practicing. Remember I told you that here, this is not mumbo jumbo and do this and maybe that will happen. None of this maybes. This, what I'm giving you here, what I'm teaching you, is a definite yes, definite must. Yes, it will happen, and short amount of time. Because I am interested in manifestations that occur quickly, fast, in a short amount of time. You're not waiting here for years, 2 years down the line or 3 years. Some manifestations may. If you want to become a billionaire, yeah, it can take a decade for some, not for everybody. For some, it might take a decade, and what businesses they get into. But what I'm saying here is that manifestations should occur, regular manifestations should occur between 1 to 6 months. Let's just give it a 6-month time period. 6 months is long enough for your regular manifestations, getting a car, getting a job, these should occur 1 to 3 months. Getting a house, these kind of things should happen between 1 to 6 months. Becoming a millionaire, yes, it could take slightly longer, it could take a year, but that's still great. To me, if you wanted to become a millionaire and it took you 1 year to do it, and you followed the method to the T, then, my goodness, you come out a millionaire. Who wouldn't give a year to become a millionaire? I mean, just think about it. Who wouldn't do that? But, if you had to spend 10 years to become a millionaire, you might still be a happy man or a woman, but you might say, oh, it's a long time, it's drawn out. But I can assure you, it does not take 10 years to become a millionaire. If that's your aim, it will not take you 10 years to become a millionaire. Now, I'm happy to announce to you, of course, the book that I published, but also wanted to announce to you that I had my student test this out, and this is the method, the 3 times 33. Remember I told you, 3 times 33 method, you write it for 33 times for 3 days, then you take a break. And I told most of you, take a break for a week, and then start over again, and it will work for you. And so I had a student that just tested it out, and she just wrote to me, and I'm pretty sure, I'll guide exactly what happened. What she told me was that she was expecting a credit card to arrive. It hadn't happened for months, by the way. Yeah, the credit card hadn't arrived for months. It wasn't working on the regular channel. So what she did, she wrote it down for 3 days, and then 33 times. She did it in a variation as well, and the variation she gave me was that she did it 3 days, 33 times, and she spoke it 33 times. Now let me say it again. She wrote it for 3 days, 33 times for her card, and she spoke it 33 times each day, of course, for the 3 days. And she did the visualization, and after that, 3 days later, now this occurred so fast, and I'll give you the why statement they used. They used the why statement. They did not use a regular I am statement. They used a why statement for the card. And remember I told you the why statements work faster. They are super fast. And so she told me that 3 days later, she received a response that they were about to send her the card. This hadn't happened for months. I believe that she gave me a time period of, she said it hadn't happened since May this year. I mean, May, June, July, August, September, October. 6 months. Hadn't happened, chasing the company back and forth. And after writing the why affirmation, after doing the 3 times, 3 days, 33 times, and speaking it 33 times a day, boom, 3 days later, she gets a response, positive response, and she gets the card. So, those of you who are attempting to use this technique for whatever desire you have, I highly encourage you to do it the same way. Write a why affirmation, and then, speak it 33 times, write it for 3 days, 33 times, that is if you've got, good arms, good hands, good wrists, you haven't got wrist problems. Those of you who have wrist issues, those of you, suffer with the writing too much, gives you pain, then I highly encourage you to just write it 33 times once, if you're able to, and if you're not able to, then just do this. Speak it 33 times for 3 days. Yes. Speak it 33 times for 3 days and rest, and then give yourself a gap, at least 1 week, 7 days, then do it again. 33 times, 3 days. Stop. gap, 7 days. Do it again until it comes through. You will get it, by the way. You will definitely get it. This is guaranteed. There is no block in this one. So I highly, highly encourage you to test it out. I'm absolutely delighted to hear that. I'm going to have to make a little modification in my book and put that in that this is another variation that works. So I'm very, very happy. Those of you who are testing out different variations of the method, please let me know in an email. You have my email address, shimoun63@yahoo.com. That's shimon63@yahoo.com. Write to me, let me know, then I can obviously write it in the book and help, other people will be helped by this. Our aim here, we are the light. Our aim here is not to be just a personal light to myself. I don't want to be just a light bulb in my own home, or a fluorescent light. I want to be a light to the world. You're a light to the world. That's why God has put us here. We're a light to the world. So be highly encouraged. You're in the right place. You're with Rabbi Simon Altab. It is as clean as it gets, as honest as it gets. And, I'm here to assist you. I'm here to help you. This is my aim. And, if you're part of the family, we strive to help each other and achieve your aims, achieve your objectives. This is why we are here. We're not here to suffer and to, cry and whine. No, we're not here for that. Yes, we will have problems in this life. We will have to go through problems. But be rest assured that God has placed the right people in front of you to help you as well, to get through those problems and troubles. So very, very happy with that. And I'm probably going to, stop the lecture and pass it on to Rabbi Kefa, because I am, as I said, I'm packing to travel. I've already packed, got a little bit more packing to do. And I'm ready to go to the UK and get some cold weather over there because I've been in quite hot weather over here. And now it's about to turn into the winter next month. So I'll be traveling and spend a little bit of time in the UK. I like to spend some time over there with the family and catch up on, what's happening over there. As you know, that a lot of things are happening in the UK. The UK has really suffered a lot with the pandemic, the disease, the plague. We lift up all the world, but we especially lift up the people in the UK, that God may have respite for them and mercy and, healing for the people there. But I will definitely be visiting, I'll try and get time to visit Rabbi Jez over there, and we'll see, what I can fit in my timeline over there. I have a short space of time. I think it's about 5 weeks, but I'll see what I can do within that 4 or 5 weeks trip, if that, and then get on with other things. Baruch Hashem Yahweh, have a great Shabbat and a great week ahead. Continue to manifest your desires and your dreams, and use the information that's given over here to benefit your lives, your family's lives. Don't worry and don't hesitate to pass information on to your families. There's no secret over here. We're not a secret club. Pass information to your families to help them. I have at least 2 books on manifestation out there. The Law of Attraction versus the Perfect Law. Now there's a Bullseye, the Law of Manifestation. Those 2 books are out there to help people, everyday people, get on with their lives, make prosperous and abundant lives. Rather than be miserable, be happy, be producing. The things that you produce will help other people, help communities, and that's all part of being of humanity. That's all part of humanity, and let's just do the best we can. Baruch Hashem Yahweh, have a great 7 days or 6 days of labor ahead after the Shabbat, and then, another great Shabbat. And so I'll speak to you next week from the UK. Hashem Yahweh, Shabbat Shalom, Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, Todah Rabah HaKohen. Everybody get the lecture. I will say one thing. I just posted the link for the book. I did proof the book, Bullseye. Great sister. Extensions to the powers of Israel. This is going to be a great extension for you, a great extension to help you meet the desires that you want. Now, the desires that you desire for yourself and your family, and those around you as well. It's going to be to me, this is like the 1-2 tandem. When you have the Abrahamic-Faith Bible or the Hidden Truth Hebraic Scrolls, along with this, couple that with this book right here, Bullseye, and really how to manifest, because it's unfortunate that we've been conditioned on this prayer technique, and let's face it, with the prayer technique, how many of you have been benefited by the prayer technique just by praying according to what you've been conditioned? I mean, I was praying for years and years and nothing was never coming about. Why? Is because I was using the wrong technique, to connect. Of course, I was praying to a religious God, the God of the Christians, the God of the Catholics, and I was never getting, I definitely wasn't hitting bullseye. So, again, when I began to really utilize the techniques and begin to not pray, but meditate, we're told in the book of Psalms that, and I think the book of Proverbs as well, is that we're to meditate on your word day and night. And the same thing about praying on the word, but we're to meditate. So when I properly learned how to meditate, my goodness, the world has become my oyster, and I'm not permitted to eat oysters, but the world has become my 5-piece Popeyes, dark meat. So again, it's very, very important that we do understand is that how you meditate. You may call it prayer, meditation, whatever you want to call it, but to utilize the proper technique to get the desires of your heart, the desires that you desire for yourself. I mean, things that you want. I mean, this is heaven on earth. This is what heaven is all about, really. It's about you being happy, humble, complete, whole, and truly going through this life the way you want to go through it. Now, let's face it, a lot of people want to go through life miserable. So be it. If you want to go through life miserable, then have at it. But my desire is to go through this life, and have a life that's full of abundance, and have it even be more abundantly for me, and leave a legacy for my children and my children's children, that they can go on and carry on and not be hoodwinked and bamboozled by all the stumbling blocks that are out here in these nations. Because remember, we're in these nations, but we're not of these nations. So we're in these nations to do great things, but we're not in these nations to assimilate to their way of thinking. What we should find what they do strange to us, but not to them. You understand what I mean? So I remember as I came into the knowledge of the truth that one of the first things that I wanted to do was tell people to stop doing their Christmas. How can I do that? You see, it should be strange to me not to put up a Christmas tree and do all this Christmas mumbo jumbo, but it shouldn't be strange and to them, because I'm in their nation. I'm the sojourner. I'm the foreigner in their land. And I went through a lot of experience, believe me, Mishpahah, with that particular knowledge base. Is that, listen, they want to put up their Christmas tree, they want to do all that, that's fine. But that's just not permitted for me to do. That's not one of the, when you look at that Bible that they have in their house, Christmas is not one of the mandated festivals in Leviticus 23 that I'm supposed to keep. You see what I'm saying? So this is what it all boils down to. It's like, who are you going to roll with? Who are you down like full flat tires with? Are you down with the God of the Christians, the God of the Catholics, the God of the Muslims, the God of the Hebrews? I mean, who are you rolling with? And then you're going to follow that, and so be it, if that makes you happy. But again, if you realize within yourself, within your ruach, within your spirit, that's not working out for you, or that you need to make a change, then you make the change. Or you feel like it's uncomfortable for you, at the end of the day, you should have this feeling. I'm not one big on emotions. Like I told you earlier, I like results. I'm not one that's big on emotions, but I know emotions play a role in a place, because again, the creator of all things gave us emotions. It's unfortunate that a lot of people run with their emotions. They have their emotions on their shoulder and they're easily knocked down. and just like they run with the mind. But at the end of the day, I had the emotion or the feeling that I was home. You know what I mean by home? When I found the first 5 books, what they call the Torah, from Genesis to Deuteronomy, and I began to read that and I began to understand it not with the constructed, Catholic or Christian non-denominational hat on, but with the hat of a Hebrew. That's when I realized I was home. I truly realized that I was home. I realized that, legacy is important. Lineage is very, very important. I used to read the Old Testament, as they call it, as a Christian, because, we used to have this thing in our house. My father used to make us read through the Bible in a year. How many of you are familiar with that? So we have sections every night that we would have to read so that we can complete the Bible within a year. You know what I'm talking about? So we'd always get to these parts in what they call the Old Testament, or we call the Torah. And, you start reading about, and so-and-so begat so-and-so, and so-and-so. And I'm like, why is this stuff relevant? Anybody else had to say, I'm like, well, why is this stuff important? Why do we have to read all these names? So-and-so begat so-and-so, and so-and-so begat so-and-so. Now I understand that is crucial. That is key to our legacy and our lineage, is that we keep that alive. And so now I realize it's so important that we keep that legacy and that lineage alive. And just like our Kohen talked about in his lecture, and like the way he put it, more or less co-creators with the creator of the heavens and the universe, or extenders of the God of Israel, Baruch Hashem. It reminded me, when he said extenders, you know what it reminded me of? Like an extension cord. Like sometimes some people have to double up their extension cord, triple up their extension cord. Sometimes some folks only have to use one extension cord to get the job done. You know what I mean? So I think it's important that we realize that we're all at different levels of extension. Some of us, to meet our marks and our desires, it may take longer. Some of us probably don't even know what the first steps that we need to do to begin to meet our desires, our wants. Because at the end of the day, the creator of all things, he wants you to be happy, full of peace, full of love, full of joy. If money makes you happy, then, meditate for a lot of money. Begin to script a lot of money. Begin to journal a lot of money. And be specific. Put a number on it. If your health makes you happy, then script that. If prosperity of a home will make you happy, a car will make you happy, so be it. A family, if that's going to make you happy, so be it. That's what I did. I scripted Nakshan, and Nakshan is here. He is here. I scripted Nakshan, and my son is here. I wanted a son, and now I have a son. And so now I can leave that legacy. I can say, yeah, and Kefa begot Nakshan, Baruch Hashem. So the begetting and the begotten is going on, and it's going to continue to go on. But that's important to understand. I understand that I'm an extension. I'm a creator, a co-creator in creating Nakshan, my 1-year-old, Baruch Hashem. I have a role in that. I have a piece to play. I'm a partner in the whole process, which is brilliant. I give thanks to the creator, the God of Israel, the creator of all things, that we too can create. And this is what I want to talk about today as we open up the book of Beresheeth. And we read from the beginnings, just like our Kohen did, and I'm going to open it up. And we're going to open up the book of Beresheeth and read from the beginnings, because I think that it's so vital and so very important for us to understand, is that we too are creators. Our Kohen mentioned this in his lecture, and I will continue it on. When people look at the book of Beresheeth or the book of Genesis, the book of the beginnings, this is what you must realize. This is where it all begins. And it ends at the beginning, not midway. This is why Christianity is so convoluted and confused. It's because how many of you open, say like you buy this expensive toy. How many of you, I know majority of you probably do what I do, just try to put it together without reading the directions. But once you realize after all the mistakes that you made, that you cannot, make the particular item work without reading the directions, how many of you go to the middle of the page, middle of the instruction book? Well, let me start reading right from the middle of the instruction books instead of going back to the beginning. And that's where a lot of religions miss the boat. Except for, I would say, Islam. They go back to the beginning. They take it back to the beginning. But a lot of these other religions, they'll say, no, they want to pick and choose. They want to go through the Bible like it's going shopping at Kohl's or Costco's and just select and pick and choose what they want out of it, call it their own, adopt it, and thus you have a religion. That's how they all start anyway. So it's very important that we go back to the beginning. And the book of Beresheeth goes right back to the beginning. So pray tell, the question that I have for you, the book of Genesis, again, when I was, seeking the truth, and I tell you, I used to get in my prayer closet, just like the King James Version of the Bible say, go in your prayer closet and close the door and begin to cry out and pray to God. I did that. And I know that the God of Israel and all of his compassion and love, he honored that because that's all I knew to do. Out of ignorance, that's all I knew to do was to take the Bible literally. So I went in my prayer closet. How many of you had a prayer closet? You would actually go into your prayer closet and you would literally go into your prayer closet and you would pray because that's what the Bible said to do. So that's what I did. But in doing that, I still, that voice on the inside of me, my inner self, what that voice said to me? That Ruach, that Holy Spirit, the Spirit said, my will is my word. If you want to, because my prayer was, look, God, I only want to do your will. I only want to do your will. My whole life was based upon that. I only want to do God's will. Now, I was told by so many different other people, well, this is God's will, this is God's will, this is how you do God's will. I only want to do what God wants me to do. Then I realized that God's will was not what was important. It was what I wanted that was important. See, sometimes you have to get selfish. But a lot of religions tell you got to be selfless. No, you got to be selfish. And you have to desire, what is my desire? Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to make me happy. And that's what the creator of all things wants for his creation. He wants his creation to be happy. Now, our happiness will vary. Some of us, money makes us happy. Some of us, a big house will make us happy. Some of us, a nice car will make us happy. Some of us, a nice relationship will make us happy. Some of us, children, and lots of them will make us happy. Some of us, this awesome job will make us happy. See, it's going to vary, and that's okay. That's totally okay. You see, we're getting out of that religious mumbo-jumbo. Well, you want to do God's will, brother. Well, God's will is for you to be happy. So when I heard in the prayer closet from that still small voice, my will is my word, I was like, okay, well, where is God's word? Is it in the New Testament? I submit to you not as I knew it. So I had to go back to the beginnings, and I tell you, it brought me right back to the book of Genesis, right back to the book of Beresheeth, where the beginnings begin, where it begins. And it ends, by the way. So from day one, the beginnings for me was the book of Beresheeth, where it begins. You have to start from the beginning if you're truly going to understand. And this is where a lot of humanity misses the boat. They want to get a cleft note and go halfway. Just give me the important pointers and I'll roll with that. No, you want to start at the beginning. And for us, not knowing who we are at one time or another, we were hoodwinked and bamboozled. We didn't have the full layout before us, the floor plan. We didn't have it. We were trying to build a house, and we were building it without the architectural plans to build the house properly. How many of you want to build your house on a solid foundation? I do. I don't want to build my house on the sand. I don't want to build my house on the rocks. I want to build my house on concrete, solid foundation. So you have to start at the beginning by working on the foundation first. Christianity say you can put up the house and have the house already up. You don't need to worry about the foundation. Because you live under this foundation called grace and mercy and love, and God will forgive you for all you do and blah, blah, blah. But on the inside of you, you realize that's just not, that doesn't mesh with you. You realize, man, there's got to be more to it than this. Your desire is to build your house on solid ground. So whatever storms come, because believe me, the storm's going to come, the wind's going to blow, but they're not going to be able to shake your foundation because you founded upon the rock, Baruch Hashem, because you founded upon the rock. And regardless of what goes on in your life, you can go through hell and just keep walking. Baruch Hashem. because you understand that you found it upon the rock. No plague is going to move you. No disease is going to, shake you. Nothing. No weather event is going to break you. Why? It's because you found it upon the rock. And that's what's important. So we have to go back and we have to look at the book of Beresheeth. We look at the book of Genesis, and we see right from the very beginning. Again, I read from the Abrahamic-Faith Bible, the Hidden with Great Scrolls. It says that, Beresheeth, Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, Elohim powers created the Shemayim and the land was desolate and chaotic, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Ruach of Elohim, the Holy Spirit, fluttered over the face of the Ma'im. Now, I want you to take this and make this personal. From day one, I titled this lecture, Day One. From day one, I want you to take it and make it personal. Don't just read it as some storybook. Don't just read it as some hairy fairy, blah, blah, blah. Don't just read it as dogmatism, but take it and make it personal. My testimony is what's being read right here from Genesis 1. In the beginning, Elohim powers created the Shemayim and the land was desolate. Believe me, that's where I was at. Christianity, Catholicism, jumping to and fro from this church to that. Man, it's just desolate. I knew there was just this empty space. How many know what I'm talking about? That empty space within inside of you. Something that is just not right. I should be doing more with this life that I have. And I'm not. And I tested this. I did all this, and it's still the same old thing. Land was desolate and chaotic. Chaotic, I mean, my goodness, that's an understatement. In and out of different relationships, not happy, too busy trying to please other people, that I never had time to please myself. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. You sit there trying to make everybody else happy and you not happy. Suffering servant and all that other mumbo jumbo. That I'm supposed to die to myself so that I can have life. That's a bunch of foolishness. You're supposed to find yourself and love yourself and take care of yourself and treat yourself and have a great relationship with yourself. That's what you're really supposed to be doing. So this is why I kept crying out. The land, in verse 2, the land was desolate and chaotic, and darkness was on the face of the deep. We all understand that our Torah, the laws of Moses, you can take a verse and it can have 70 different meanings to it, depending upon how you use it and what revelation that you have been given by the Ruach, by the Mother Spirit, Mother Wisdom, as she's called in Proverbs. Is that you to seek Mother Wisdom, run after her, Baruch Hashem. And the Ruach of Elohim and the Holy Spirit was fluttering over the face of the Ma'im, Baruch Hashem. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that within my mind, your brain is encapsulated with what? It's surrounded by what? Water. Did you know that? And so I was like, I'm trying to figure this. I was like, man, speak to me. Powers, God, whoever you are, speak to me. Give me guidance and direction. Instruction, Baruch Hashem. And then verse 3, look what happened. And then in verse 3, Elohim power said, light be, and light was. Baruch Hashem. Light be. See, that's the question that I have for you and for myself. What do I want to be? What do I want to be? Do I want to be light? Do I want to be darkness? What do I want to be? When you want to be something, then it will be. So, as co-creators, as extenders of the God of Israel, that's the question. You see, I was asking God, what is his will? And God was asking me, well, what do you want to be? You see, Christianity makes you put the blame on God or give God out of responsibility. When God is telling you, no, you take responsibility for self. What do you want to be? Speak the way God speaks. Light be and light was. I am a millionaire and I am a millionaire. Well, your brain is telling you ain't no millionaire. You can barely make $1 out of 15 cents. That's ego. That's logic kicking in. That's persons that are under the subjugation of the mind instead of subjugating their mind. You see? This is a total different shift that needs to take place within you, within yourself. You see, because now you need to dust the cobwebs off of self that's within you so self can take control and put mind in its place and tell mind that he needs to, or she needs to mind her business or mind his business. You understand what I'm saying? That's the point that you need to get to. So whatever you want to be, it's going to be because you create the being. You are being. That's what's inside of you. You are being. That's what you are. You ain't going to hear this. You're not going to hear this from Hagee and all these other dudes. They're not going to tell you all this stuff. They're going to tell you to continue to seek outside of yourself. Continue to pray, brother. Continue to pray. Walking away, had to open the door for Pharaoh. Continue to pray, brother. Continue to pray. Continue to pray, brother. Say some more Hail Marys and all that mumbo jumbo with nothing is changing. The results are still not there, yet you continue to do the same old things. Sounds like the definition of insanity to me, right? Continue to do the same old things, but yet expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity, Mishpah. We've said that many times here, right? So Elohim powers in verse 3 of Genesis 1 and 3, and Elohim power said, light be, and light was. So what can you say today? Let's make it personal. Let's make it personal. What you're saying is what's being in your life today. You see, you create everything that's happening in your sphere of influence, in your world right now, is all created by you. You can change it. You can definitely change it, right? We all understand we have the tools and we are equipped to change our whole environment. We can change our world just by how we begin to speak, how we begin to think. And you just keep repeating these things over and over again. You notice what I noted about the God of the Bible, the God of the Hebrews? I want you all to understand this, and I've been meditating on this week as well. You know what I noted about the God of Israel? The God of Israel never did anything alone. Think about what I just said. He never did anything alone. He always acted out, or powers always acted out through individuals, thus empowering the individual. Note that. You can even start by looking with Moses, Abraham. Note that. Noah. Noted that he empowered people. Thus, people empowering themselves to do whatever they want. Look at the smackdown that was put on the superpower of Egypt at that time by the God of the Hebrews. Every time, who went before Pharaoh? Was it the God of the Hebrews himself showing up? No, it was Moses and Aaron going before the Pharaoh, and Moses and Aaron speaking. And Moses and Aaron doing some kind of action, thus bringing forth a result by the powers of Israel. You ever note that? And I want you to note that throughout all of our history. Even Yeshua ben Yosef, who they call Jesus, same thing. He spoke, and then things happened. It wasn't the powers of Israel doing it. So everything happens through the conduit, like the extension, the human being. The human factor. That's what's important. Because powers, the God of Israel wants to empower who? He wants to empower people. He wants you to be empowered. He wants me to be empowered. So he has to totally change the way we speak, the way we think, the way we act. You see what I mean? So we can do the same thing. We can say, light be and light was. You can say, I want that 5-bedroom house. And I have that 5-bedroom house. I have that 5-bedroom house. I have that 5-bedroom house now. I am that 5-bedroom house. Baruch Hashem. You see? I am that new car. I am that beautiful wife. I am that handsome husband. You see? Because you realize is that the I am is within you. I am that I am. And that I am is within you. You have the DNA of El Shaddai. You are an extension. Extensions. We are extensions of the Creator of all things. That's beautiful. We've been chosen. That's even more beautiful. Small in number? Absolutely. And that fits the bill of our history. Israel gonna always be small. You know why we stay small? So the greatness, the power of our God can show out through his power. Not because we had great numbers. We stay small because then we show the greatness of the God that we serve. Through the miracles, the manifestations, that happen in our lives. We don't have to be big. You go to some of these churches, their whole premise is, oh, we a mega church. We this big, that the other big, and that other big. Well, what's the results of this church? Let me go talk to some of the people in that church. Are your desires being met? What are you manifesting in your life? What do you desire for yourself? Well, I'm still praying, brother. How long have you been praying? Well, about 7 years, still praying. God is teaching me patience, brother. Whatever, man. There is a better way. You ever thought about trying something different? Oh, no, Pastor said. You see? Pastor said for me, blah, blah, blah. There you go with Pastor. Well, what do you say? What do you think? Well, they don't think for themselves. Because they turned over their ability and their will and their dominion that they've been given, by the way, by the powers of the universes. You've been given dominion over this earth, yet you take it and you turn it over and you recycle it and you let somebody else have it. And then you just, again, you fall prey and you become a slave to that individual that you've given your dominion to. No, contraire, mon frere, I take my dominion back. I take my dominion back, and I'm going to be responsible, and I'm going to be in control over what happens in my life, and I'm going to take full responsibility for it. And I'm going to see the results, whether good or bad. I'm rolling with the results that I made, that I created, because I said light be and light was. I said that. I believe in that. Light being. I'm not waiting on some light to come to me. I'm creating my light. My light be. And light is now. Baruch Hashem. That Mercedes be. And Mercedes is now. Baruch Hashem. That awesome, loving, and loyal wife be. And that awesome and loving, loyal wife is now. That awesome, handsome, healthy, humble baby boy be. And that baby, handsome, loving, loyal baby boy is now. That's what it's about. It's not about no pie in the sky. It's about what's going on right now and how you want to change it if you're unhappy with your condition. Because your condition can change, but we have to be willing to change it. Baruch Hashem, Genesis, Beresheeth. Chapter 1, verse 4, Elohim power saw that the light was good. Elohim power separated the light from the darkness. Verse 5, and Elohim powers called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So the evening and the morning were Yom Ahad, were day one. This is why I say from day one. That's why I titled this lecture from day one. Right now can be your day one. From day one. Is light be and light was. Now, from day one, that's day one. Yom Ahad, from day one, light be and light was. From day one. We're not starting from day 15. We're not starting from day 30. We started from day one. And from day one, Mishpahah, the creator of all things, who brought forth this very world. He brought it forth. He didn't create it. He brought it forth. It was already created. He had to just bring it in. Just like whatever you desire is already there. It's energy and it's already there. All you have to do is reel it in, attract it in. Right, Rabbi Zakaria? Just reel it in, attract it in. It's already there. It's there for the taking. You just have to attract it, bring it in. How do I do that? By just calling it in. Having a relationship with it, saying, I love it. I love money, and money loves me, and we have a relationship that's going to last forever. And money comes to me from all directions. I am $1 billion. I am $1 million. Baruch Hashem. You begin to speak the relationship. It's just like any other race. See, but again, with folks, a lot of folks they miss this in life because their life is based on bad relations. Matter of fact, they don't even know how to have a relationship. Matter of fact, they don't even have a good relationship with themselves. They don't even know who self is because they spend so much time being selfless, giving up of self, and pleasing other people. I'm in that camp. I used to be there, man. I know that. I'm talking to you from experience. Oh, you want to please everybody else. Thus, you go through this great period of life, and you never assess, and you don't even know what yourself like. You don't even have self-likes. You don't even know what you desire for yourself. Matter of fact, you don't even have a connection with yourself because you're too busy being connected with everybody outside of yourself. That you never take the time to love yourself, but you're too busy trying to love other people. I've been there, done that. Trying to love all these women. Trying to buy their love. Trying to, just do whatever I could to get them to love. And yet I never even loved myself. I never even took the time to love myself. Have a relationship with myself. Spend time with myself. That's why meditations are so important. Because they bring you into your inner man, your inner woman. And you could begin to see. I'm telling you, Mishpachah, this stuff is real. This is not religion. This is a way of life. How you live your life. That's going to be beneficial to you once you begin to connect inside with yourself. Because that's where being is. Light be and light was. Your being is you know why? You wonder why they call us human beings? We always connect with the human part, but very few are able to connect with that being. That's what inside of them. They only see themselves as human and they totally forgot about the being. What is your being? What do you want to connect with? What do you desire for yourself? You want to connect with your inner self. And don't worry and fret about, I got to please this person. I got to please that person. I got to please that person. You're selling yourself short. But once you begin to take care of self, that inner being, then everything illuminates outside from that. Because that's where that light is. It's within inside of you. But if that light can never come out, just like Yeshua ben Yosef said, you don't take your life and you go put it in the closet. You don't want to do that. You want to take your light and you want to put it up so that everybody can see it. So what do they see when they see you? What do they see? You see, that's the question. What do they see when they see you? Do they see light or do they see darkness? You see, because Elohim powers, the God of Israel, he took light and he separated it from darkness. Well, what are you saying, Rabbi Kefa? We to separate from the dark people? No, you're to be a light, because when light goes into darkness, what happens? The darkness has to leave, or it can stay and become light. But light, light don't run from darkness. Darkness runs from light. You try that experiment. Turn off all the lights in your house and light a candle. Everywhere you go with that candle, it's going to be lit up. It's going to be illuminated. When you leave with that candle, that place is going to go back into darkness. Think about that for a minute. A great little exercise that has profound lessons behind it. The wise will understand. So that's very, very important for us to examine. You listening via YouTube, you listening live. Your existence, your very existence on the face of this earth is not based upon somebody's religion. Some hodgepodge religion that's leaving you hoodwinked and bamboozled and led astray. That's just not doing you any justice. And they want to run around here and holler about some no justice, no peace. There's no time for that mumbo jumbo. You want to find peace and love and joy. That's your default settings as beings. But you're too busy being humans, so you want to segregate yourself and separate yourself because that's the human side. But when you begin to get intimate and you begin to hold an intimate relationship with your very being, the very essence of who you are, that'll begin to illuminate outside of you. And then you'll be the personification of peace and of love and of joy. Because people, the watchers and the witnesses around you, they'll begin to say, man, why are you so peaceful? Girl, why nothing ever bother you? Because you connected to your being. And you can say with full assurity that light be and light was. For whatever you desire. From the very beginning, from day one, it's been all about creation, luxury class. From day one. Yet, is this not taught in the churches, in the synagogues? To create, that we're creators. And you can create. And here's the methods on how to create. You see? This is how we do it. That's a song too, right? This is how we do it. I'm telling you, but it's so true. It's all about creation. So my question for you, Mishpachah family, this day is like, okay, well, what am I creating? Look at your world and say, well, what have I created for myself here? Because you can't change it. These are inner assessments that need to be done. Not pointing a finger at nobody. This is internal assessment. You connecting to the self. You connecting to that being within inside of you. And saying, okay, what do I really desire for myself? I've been too busy running around here desiring things for all these other people, but I got to be selfish for a minute and say, well, what do I desire for myself? Because at the end of the day, I want to be happy. I want to be full of love, joy, and peace. And when I'm laying in that bed, looking at my toes, getting ready to take my last breath, I want to say, truly, like the master, Yeshua ben Yosef said, it is finished. Not, oh man, I woulda, shoulda, coulda done this, that, the other. No, I'm going to say it is finished. Job well done. It is finished. Now on to the next life. Baruch Hashem, with confidence, I'll say it is finished. It is done. Just like our forefathers. You know, the powers of Israel say, okay, Moses, your time is up. Now it's time to go sleep with your fathers. Aaron, your time is up. Now it's time to go sleep with your forefathers. Not, you didn't see them throwing some kind of temper tantrum. Oh God, I don't want to go. I'm not ready. I still got much things I could do. No. Time is done. Mission complete. Job well done. When you look back and you see that all of your affirmations, all of your marks are met, and they're met, and they're met, and they're met, and you've met your marks. You've met whatever you marked for yourself. What have you marked for yourself? Well, I haven't sat down and wrote any marks for myself. Well, you should. What do you desire for yourself? What do you desire? What do you desire? Well, I don't know. See, these are the kind of internal questions that you need to sit down in your meditations. Go in your backyard, wherever you can find some peace and quiet time, and really get involved with yourself. And as you meet those marks, you make new ones for yourself. And at the end of the day, when you help in self, believe it or not, you helping others and those that are around you as well. That's just how it goes down. But we have to come out of that model, the broken model, where we help others, and then in the meantime, some kind of way self gonna get taken care of. How many of you know that model doesn't work? That technique is a failure. I can't use that technique. It fails. I'm not gonna just play the same old broken record. No, I have to do something a different way. And when I realize when I'm happy, everybody else around me is happy. And then guess what? I begin to attract happiness around, happy people around me. And those that are not so happy, they won't want to come around me or won't be attracted to me. You see? Same way with peace. Same way with love and joy. You'll begin to attract certain individuals will come into your life. You'll begin to attract people of the same like-mindedness, of the same ruach, same spirit as yourself, same energy as yourself. That's just how it goes down. And when you realize everything material on this earth has an energy to it, you can attract that energy to you. You just reel it in. You attract it to you. Because you say, light be and light was from day one. This was day one. Light be and light was. Not, okay, well, I want light. I sure hope light comes. No, light be. You let whatever you want be. Let it be. Let it be. You want that car? Let that car be. Let that car be real to you. Real. Let it be. The way you write, let that car, you want that job? Let that job be your job. Let that car be your car. Let that man be your man that you want. Let that woman be that woman that you desire. That's you know, it's so simple. Our way of life is so simple, yet religion is so complex. And you throw Judaism right in there with it. So complex, so difficult. You must do all this, jump through this hoop, that hoop, the other hoop. You must do this. It's just one big show. People get tired of a show after a while. You get tired of it. And if you're happy with the show, stay in it. But if you're tired of the same old show, and you desire something different for yourself, and you know that on this earth you should have better for yourself. Because look, let me tell you, the powers, Elohim powers, are not respective of persons. So if Joe Blog or Sally Sue can have it, and if that's your name, no offense, why can't you? There's no reason why you can't. What limits you is yourself. And majority of what limits folks is them not connected to themselves. And another limitation is that they're still under mind control. Their mind is controlling them. Or ego and logic will jump in. There's no way in hell you get that. What makes you can't get that. Look where you come from. You heard what your daddy said about you. You're never going to be nothing. You see what I mean? You see, but you have to put all that in check. You see, and you know how you do that? You begin to connect with yourself. That subconscious within you is powerful. Your very being, the essence of who you really are. Connecting back to the God that is within you. Are you not gods? You sure are. And goddesses? You sure are. Oh, well, Rabbi, I don't want to be no God. Well, then guess what? Then you won't be a God. You see what I mean? That's just what it is. It's how you perceive yourself. But a lot of people not even connected with themselves, so they have no perception. So they just run on what other people say about them. Well, Pastor said that I'm a winner. Pastor said that I'm a winner, chicken dinner, so I'm a winner. But you don't even believe that. You must connect to yourself. You must connect to that inner woman, that inner man, and build that relationship. That happens at day one. When you get with being and you realize, my goodness, there is nothing that I cannot have for myself. If I desire it, I can have it. Because I've been given dominion over this earth. And you see somebody else out there got it, you can have it too. Somebody else has what you desires, you too can have it. There's no limitations placed upon you. None. You know who limits us? We limit ourselves through whatever stumbling block and whatever form that stumbling block may come into. It may come into the form of a mama, a father, a friend, a relative, self, your mind, your ego, your thought process, how you think. It'll take time, although we don't run on time. It's a growing curve, I say. It is. Because there's a lot of things that need to be deleted and a lot of things that need to be uploaded. You know what I mean? It'll take time. You'll go through some experiences doing this, but you're better served for it. You're going to go through some valleys, and you're going to be on top of some mountains. But I always know is that you'll never be forsaken. You'll never be forgotten. And we have our covenants with us that will always keep us. We're covenant people. We're protected people. We're people of rescue. Somebody stated it earlier. We're people of rescue. We're already rescued. So all we have to do now is just go out and write and script our lives on how we want to live them. Write it down. Make goals for yourself. Affirm them. And keep affirming them. Meditate on that word day and night. And it will be. Oh, it will be, Mishpachah. It will be, family. But that's where it all starts. It starts with the family. Israel is a family. The family of Jacob and his 12 sons. You too are a family. And that's where it starts. From day one. And that's what we need to understand this day, Mishpachah. Is that we're extenders, as Hakohi put it. We're co-creators. Well, the question is, if I ask you right now, what do you want to create? Can you name it? Can you get on that keyboard right now and just right now, what do you want to create? Anybody? Anybody? Anybody want to affirm right now? What do you want to create right now for yourself? What do you want to create? You want to create wealth? You want to create a business? You want to create a relationship? What do you want to create right now? Torah says happiness. I affirm that. Eddie says independent business income. I affirm that. Eddie's Baruch Hashem. What do you want to create for yourself? You see, the first step is beginning. You got to put it on paper. You got to see it for yourself so others can see it. But you first got to see it for yourself. What do you want to create for yourself? See, it's got to get real. It's got to get personal. Well, what do I want to create? Maybe you need to think on it, meditate on it, get to know yourself. Y'all said a relationship with a home and $1 million. What, 1 million homes or $1 million? How you want it? How you want it, Yael, woman of the tent? Baruch Hashem. A business to benefit Israel? Okay, Deborah. You see, that's how real it needs to get. And you need to be specific on how you want it. Baruch Hashem. $1 million, says Yael, woman of the tent. $100 million, I stand corrected. Baruch Hashem. So there you go. That's what it is. But you see, the minute you write this down, then somebody might say, oh, well, that's just too far out there. Who says? When our books tell us we've been given dominion over this earth. And last time I checked, $100 million is nothing but energy. It's energy. You energy too. Attract it. You can attract that energy. Just like that independent business income. It's nothing but energy. Attract it. Attract it. See, it's all about you just getting that right mindset. It's a paradigm shift. Jacob says, $1 million and a happy life ahead. Baruch Hashem. That's what it's all about, Mishpah. It's not about this mumbo-jumbo religion stuff and all that other stuff that comes along with it that shackles you. Free up your energy and focus your energy on something that's going to be tangible and something that be realistic and something that will bring results. And I'm telling you, this Bullseye book is really going to help with that as well, along with all the other instruction and guidance and teaching that we got from our Kohen going forward as we keep it moving. That's how it works. You just have to apply it and keep applying it. And don't ever give up. You might need to tweak some things here and there, maybe try some new techniques, but that's all part and parcel of life. Is life affords to you a lot of changes, right, that you have to go through. And that's all a part of life. It's called evolution. You have to evolve. I can guarantee you, all of you in this room right now listening via YouTube, you don't look the same as you did when you came out of your mama's womb. I guarantee you that right now. That's called evolution. You have evolved. And you're going to continue to evolve. And you're just going to continue to get more and more sexy. Baruch Hashem. You know what I'm saying, Rabbi, I ain't sexy. Well, there you go. There you have it right there. But to me, you're just going to keep getting more and more attractive, more and more sexy. Baruch Hashem. It's called evolution. You have to evolve. But it's all about how you think about yourself. Some don't have that relationship with the self. And see, this is where it all starts. It all starts from there. Atar says, I'm a sexy grandma. You know what, Atar? You just sexy, period. You leave the grandma off there. Because if you want to be you want to be a sexy young woman, that's so you shall be. But if you like being a sexy grandma, then I say so be it. But I see you as a foxy mama, period. You leave the grand off of that. But if you like the grand, so be it. But do you see how wording plays a key role? Not only wording, but how you speak and what you speak. That's very, very important. So we must be on guard about that. You see? Elohim powers in verse 3 of Genesis 1 just said light be and light was. That simple. He didn't give you this long, outdated statement with all these equations to it. No, it just said light be and light was from day one. The creation at its basic, you see. Yahya 110 says, I'm grand, just not the mama, Baruch Hashem. So it's very, very important that we see it that way. See something that you desire? Be what you desire. And you are that desire. And that desire becomes you. That desire becomes real. And that desire becomes that result. That's it. That's it at the end of the day. That's the history of our books and the history of us. Yahushua ben Yosef, or what they know of as Jesus of Nazareth, same thing. He would always ask the people, well, what do you want? What do you want? He didn't force nothing on nobody. He just asked them, what do you want? You want, man say, I want to see. Okay, go do this and you're going to see. Well, I'm not going to put this mud in my eye. Well, then you won't see. You want to see? Let me see how much you believe you want to see. I want you to go and put this mud in your eye and then go wash it off. Do you see what I mean? It's all in what you believe. People making these statements on here, the family making these statements. Well, I don't believe that's going to happen. Well, then, if you don't believe that's not going to happen, then that's not going to happen for you. But these people writing it down, they believe it's going to happen, and it's going to happen. Just as they believe. Because light be and light was. It's just that simple. Life is not complex. Life is very, very simple. And it was set up, and it was set up from the beginnings to be simple. Yet man has taken life and made it complex, so difficult. You got to jump through all these hoops. You got to sweat all these bullets and blah, blah, blah. You got to hope. You got to hope that everything will work. I don't hope. Hope is not in my vocabulary. Hope is a stumbling block. You didn't read in our books that Elohim Power said, I hope light be and I hope light was. No. So then I don't hope either. That's just how I go down. So we have all the tools. We just putting them into practice now, and we watching everything get, manifested in our lives that we desire. That's what it is. Making everybody else around us happy. Not only our families, but everybody else around us happy. I already have Nakshan. He's already with his, oh my goodness. He's already saying his, he says his, he come to me, he says, I'm going to say, yeah, there you go. Now you're getting it. He already knows his ma. He got his ma down. He says, ma. Now he's learning his ya. He's learning his ya. Ya. He's learning that now. Getting these sounds down. His meditations. Now Sean will learn from an early age. He's 1 year old now, but he'll learn. He will meditate on his on the word of Elohim day and night and watch all of his things come into realization. Because he understands his father taught him that life is about results. If you're not getting results, then you keep it moving. Baruch Hashem. Life is about results. And I would be remiss as a father not to pass on this essential information that's going to benefit him going forward, him and his children's children, to leave this legacy about our history and who we are as a people and how we meditate. We don't pray, we meditate. And how we manifest things in our life. And how our forefathers lived, how we live. Baruch Hashem. It's very important. Very important. This is such a crucial period in history where all these events going on, plagues and elections and blah, blah, blah. Mishpachah, this is such a great opportunity for the family. I want all of you to see it that way. This is going to be great opportunity for prosperity in every area of your life. For you to invent for the nations that you're in. There's only like 14 people in this room. And we only average around 20, maybe 25 people. And I'm being generous there. But these people are all over the world. And again, we will have this effect. Not to mention the people that listen in via YouTube. They come in later on. And they listen in or whatever. But I've never been big on numbers anyway. Because I'm Israel, I understand. Is that Israel, it will always be small. So we can show the greatness of Elohim. The powers of Israel. But the point of the matter is that we dispersed and scattered all over. We have some people here in France. We have some people here in the UK. We have some people here all over the world that listen in. Quiet students. Some of them are quiet. Some of them stay low, lay low, and they just listen to the lectures and they apply them in their life and they're going on and they're living happy lives, glorious lives. Our festivals for the year, we're done. We just finished a Sukkot, then we're finished. We're finished. That's it. For what we're mandated to do, while we know in the nations, they're just gearing up for their, their holidays. And so be it. I'm so happy during this time that they're happy and they spend time with their families. Because this is maybe this is one of the only times where their families can all get together. I think that's great. I'm not going to condemn them for what they do. Let them do it. I'm so happy for them. But I understand, now we're starting afresh. We're starting anew. Now we're gearing up for what? We're gearing up for the Passover is our next holiday. Unless some of you celebrate Hanukkah, which is not required, but you can. If you want to celebrate Hanukkah, celebrate Hanukkah. Festival of what? Festival of lights? Brukashir? Give thanks. So these are, our way of life is our way of life, and we keep it to ourselves. I don't judge people on how I live my life, and I want them to follow along with me. No, I want them to be happy at the end of the day, full of love, peace, joy, happiness. That's what I want. And if you found that in Christianity, I'm happy for it. If you found that in atheism, I'm happy for it. I don't care however you find it. Baruch Hashem. As long as you're happy. That's what's important. Happy and humble. So from day one, we were creating, Mishpachah. From day one, Powers Elohim was creating. So from day one, we too create. So what are we going to create on our day one? We're going to create wherever we want to create, whatever we desire. But know that the creation is within. It's not out. No, the creation is within. What do you want to create? What do you want to continue to create? And be it. And do it. And that's it. That's it. Baruch Hashem. Our way of life is so easy. It's beautiful. Because it's beneficial for all humanity. And I tell you, 2021, there's going to be some great things happening to keep up in Yahweh, for sure. Some great things that how I'm going to give back to humanity and really help people come along. And because what I find, the biggest hiccup with a lot of folks, when you study human nature, and the one fix that can fix the majority of the problems with folks is money. If you put money in their pocket, that will fix whatever their so-called problem is or whatever their desire is, and it will give them some form of happiness and peace and love and joy. So my thing is not to give a person a fish, but to teach people how to fish. You know what I mean? So they can catch all the fish that they want. You know what I mean? And so that's my big thing. That's my big thing. That's where my heart is. That's where my spirit is on doing that. So that's where I'm heading. I'm gearing my energy, and it's pointing towards that way. You know what I mean? Because there's no reason why blacks and browns, and you understand this, Eddies, there's no reason why blacks and browns should not be, partakers and beneficiaries of all this money that's out there, this energy in the form of money that's out there. It shouldn't only just be for a percentage of people. There's enough money to go around for everybody. How about we not help circulate the circulation of money? You know what I mean? And I want to be a facilitator, and I am a facilitator in circulating the circulation of money. Because that's all money does is circulate, if you didn't know. You get that money, you circulate it to HEB, you circulate it to Walmart, you circulate that money out. It comes in and it circulates out. It comes in and circulates out. So you want to keep that flow of circulation good. But you want it to be afforded to everybody that they can circulate money at whatever level they want to do it. So I have businesses coming up in that area that's going to do that. That's going to help folks. Everyday common people understand that, you can circulate monies too. You don't have to have a Wall Street degree. No, you don't. You don't have to have that. You just have to have some knowledge and some common sense and have a relationship with money that's second to none. Because money is energy, so you want to have a good relationship with money. You can't be putting down money and expect money to come to you. It's like you can't call that that woman a hag and then next minute say she's going to love you, call her a witch, and next minute ask her out on a date because she could probably slap you in the face. So you must have a respect for money. You must love money. Oh, Rabbi, but the Bible say the love of all money is the root of all evil. Whoa, that's a bunch of pig water. And you know, the very pastor that's telling you that, he's driving an Escalade. And he got about 3 homes. Whoa, but money is evil for you, but not for me, you see. That's totally taken out of place. Because if that's the case, then what do we say about King Solomon in our history? What do we say about King David? What do we say about Abraham in our history? He had a lot of money, believe you me. And that person that they call Jesus of Nazareth, he was also wealthy, from a wealthy family as well. Let's not get it twisted. So if this money thing is all evil, then, you know, that don't pertain to the Jews, because Jews love money. You don't believe me? Look at the Jews around you and tell me and tell me if they don't enjoy and love money, because they do. And I'm a Jew, and I'm telling you, I love money. And me and money have a relationship that's going to last forever. And money comes to me from all directions. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. I have this man. He probably listening. He's going to listen in later because he don't come in live. But you know, this man, you know, I have a katan business. I make katans for our Hebrew men. And this man, you know, he told me, he said, I don't want 1 katan. He said, I want 5 katans. I said, what, you want 5 katans? What the heck? He said, I want 5 katans because I want to wear a new one every day. I was like, Baruch Hashem. So 5 katans, he has his 5 katans, Baruch Hashem, and he's happy. 5 katans, why? It's because he wears a new one every day. He said, I'm bleaching them, and I like them fresh, and I want to wear a new one every day. I was like, Baruch Hashem, so be it. I say, Baruch Hashem. That makes him happy. I like Baruch Hashem. If that's what he wants, that's what he wants. So that's what he got. You get what you want out of life, Mishpah. But a lot of people don't want the right things. A lot of people actually don't know what they want. And this is why their lives are so it's convoluted and confused. Because they don't have that relationship with themselves, and they're too busy trying to please others. They waste their whole life pleasing other people. And at the end of their life, they realize, man, what have I done for myself? Nothing. Well, I hope I get into heaven. Ha, ha, ha. Good luck with that one, sister. You've been put on this earth to have dominion. That's what our Bible tells us. That's what our Bible tells us. Can you show me anywhere in the Bible where it says, and you're going to go to heaven? You show me that anywhere in the Bible? Did Abraham go to heaven? Moses, did he go to heaven? Aaron, did he go to heaven? King Solomon, did he go to heaven? King David, did he go to heaven? Daniel, did he go to heaven? Shimshon, Samson, did he go to heaven? Come on, man. What is this? We got to get real. We got to wake up. And we are waking up. And you all are witnesses and watchers to the waking up. We're that first generation that's waking up out of the slumber. And we're coming back and we're embracing our heritage. And now I have a second generation. And I'm telling you, and he's going to be brought up in the Torah and the laws of Moses. And our rich heritage and our rich life. He's going to be brought up with the perfect law. Baruch Hashem. The law of the universes. Wow. That's beautiful. The second generation's coming now. I tell you, it's a beautiful thing. And I'm so happy and humbled to be a partaker during this time. So on that note, I'm going to wrap it up for the Shabbat. But remember, from day one, what were we doing from day one? I want you to go back and think about this, meditate on this week as well. What was the God of Israel? What was the powers and the creator of all things when he created the world? What was he doing from day one? Creation. So what does that tell us? We should be creating from day one. If you have the same DNA as El Shaddai, which I do. Well, I don't have the DNA of God. Well, then you probably won't be creating from day one. Then it's all about creation. Well, how easy is that? Be it, see it, and it will be. It will become real. God said, light be. What do you want to be? What do you want to be? And then light was. Wow. That's beautiful. That's almost like too simple, isn't it? But that's what it is. What do you want to be? But we got to keep telling ourselves, what do we want to be? Because we dealing with antagonizers on the inside. You see, the wars and the battles are taking place within. Because your mind telling you, well, how the hell is that going to happen? Well, you don't have to worry about the how. The universe is just going to bring it in because it's energy. And you're going to be attracted to it. Because you guys have the same thought process. And you have that relationship. Remember I told you, you got to have a relationship with money. You got to have a relationship with that house. You got to have a relationship with that car. I love that car. Have a relationship with that job. I love that job. You see what I mean? That's what it's about. So on that note, we'll wrap it up for the Shabbat. And love you, and I leave you in the mighty hands of the Most High, Yahweh, and in His priesthood, is giving us guidance and direction going forward. My desire is that you have a great 6 days of labor ahead. Be students of human nature just as much as you students of this Torah, the laws of Moses, these first 5 books. And be on the lookout. Baruch Hashem. Sema says, know that today the seed of thought for the rest of the plant is planted. Oh, yeah, thank you for that, Simha. In the valley, Simha, but on top of the mountain, right? Simha lives in the valley, but she's on top of the mountain. Baruch Hashem. That's what's up. Living in the valley has its privileges, right, Simha? Baruch Hashem, you don't have to worry about all that sun hitting you. Kind of got a lot of shade. It's probably a lot cooler where you are, Baruch Hashem. So again, as I stated earlier, there's always blessings. Even in what they consider bad times, believe me, there's good in it. And I'm fully taking advantage of all this good with this corona. There's a lot of good in it, and I'm taking advantage of it. A lot of great businesses going to be started because of this corona. A lot of great businesses, a lot of great innovation. You see it happening. Be a partaker, be a participant in it. While these other people run around here in fear, you take advantage of their fear and start a business behind it. Believe me. And let all them fearful people come to you for assistance and guidance and direction. Because it's real. Believe me. It's real. People are running in fear. But we're not. We're going to learn to take advantage of it. Learn to take advantage of people's fear because, believe me, they're preying on their fear. But we're going to make it a success. Turn their fear into a success. Make them successful and give them confidence. Baruch Hashem. So on that note, we'll wrap it up for the Shabbat. And we'll see you next Shabbat if the Master so desires to later. If we don't see each other in Israel first. So, Alessi, appreciate you coming in. Hope to see you come back, you and your family over there. And, we have a Hid Ruby Brace Scrolls coming your way. Enjoy it. It'll be there this week. And it'll be some eye-openers in there. It's going to blow your mind. If you have any questions, you know how to contact us. But believe me, that Bible is going to blow your mind. And I want you to use that. I don't know what Bible you guys have in your house now, King James, whatever version you have. Just use it and compare. I'm not telling you to throw that Bible away, but use it and compare, and you'll see the big difference. In this Bible that's been transliterated from the ancient Hebrew by Rabbi Simon Altab, and it's in English, and it's gonna blow you away. It's gonna really give you some great understanding about, the history of the Hebrews and about what the Bible really, the true intended meaning of the Bible. Let's just put it that way. So we'll wrap it up. Safe travels, HaKohin. And, we'll see you in the UK, Baruch Hashem. And all the rest of you, with this COVID, stay strong, and be strengthened. And, they're talking about a second wave. Oliver, I was thinking about you this week. It looked like France, second wave is hitting France pretty hard right now. Be strong and be strengthened. Stand up for your people there. Stand up for your nation. And, stand up for your nation. I saw that in France. France is getting hit pretty hard. And along with UK as well. But we're standing. And, you give grace and thanks and gratitude that, all of us, we don't have the corona, right? Baruch Hashem. That's the power of this laws of Moses. It's real, man. We have protection. Plagues is nothing new to us, right, James? Plagues is nothing new to the Hebrew. Plagues is nothing new to us. So we stand. If we continue to stand, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. But again, if we need to be helpful to others as well and not just be selfish and say, okay, let's keep it in house. But, give these remedies out to everybody that's around us. Especially the onions, cut them onions and put them throughout your house. That'll protect your house as people are still having to stay in their homes and things like that. Selenium is doing it for me. I'm taking a zinc selenium cocktail. That's working for me as well. My son, Nakshan, he's 1+ and he's still on the breast milk. I told my wife, give the breast milk as long as he can. That breast milk is powerful, isn't it? So, he's still on the breast milk, building up his immunity, Baruch Hashem. Stay away from all the conspiracy theories, Mishpahah, that's going to leave you in fear. Hey, if you need to get the immunization, you get the immunization. So be it. If you need to get it, if you want to get it, get it. If you don't worry about them, they just going to kill you. Can't kill Israel. Do you know how long in our history they've been trying to kill Israel? You can't take Israel out. So this new vaccine ain't going to do it along all the other ones that you done already took. I mean, come on, go figure, Mishpahah. You've been immunized since you were a baby, and you still here, okay? So don't run with all these conspiracy theories, this, that, the other, and the third. Medicine does have its place, Baruch Hashem, and so be it. But you don't get caught up in all that hype. Don't get caught up in all of these distractions out there that's preventing you from putting your focus and your energy on what's important, and that's meeting your desires and meeting your marks. Because I'm gonna blow your mind, Alessi, but there's no such thing as sin. There's no such thing as sin, but there is a such thing as missing your mark. When you miss your marks, then I guess you will be considered a sinner because you don't meet your marks. You don't meet your desires. So that's what it's all about. This stuff they talking about, you a sinner, you going to hell. That's for another day. But you want to make your marks, but before you can make your marks, you have to know what your marks are. This is why it's important that you connect with self. You connect with that inner being, and you realize, well, what do I want out of this life? What do I want out of this go-round on this earth? What makes me happy? What gives me peace and love and joy? What do I desire? What is it? And for me, family's at the top of that list. Being with my family, that's second to none. Family. And the protection of my family and the well-being of my family is that's my foundation right there. The house that Kefa built, that's where it starts right there. So, on that note, we'll wrap it up, Mishpahah, because I got to go in here and change some diapers. But I give thanks always to all of you, and we'll see you next Shabbat. HaKohen, safe travels, my brother from the same mother, and we'll see you next Shabbat, Mishpahah. Shabbat shalom and shalom shalom to all.